Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure. Yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs of caring for your home. Out. Uncertainty, self-doubt, stressing about not knowing where to start. In. Plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out. Word art. Sorry, live, laugh, lovers. In. Knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
This week in Enosburgh, Vermont, the disappearance of a young woman sends investigators on a trail that turns cold for 14 years until new information comes from a truly unexpected source and all the pieces fit right into place. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yeah, that's how excited Jimmie is. He was jumping the yay gun. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us. Yay, indeed, Jimmie.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's very excited here. Thank you very much for joining us. We have a wild show for you this week. This thing is crazy. It goes from multiple places and decades. It's just a disaster, this case, and you'll be angry at the end of it, which is even better.
Good.
Love a case like that. No, it's really, really insane. Hope you enjoyed last week, which obviously was just as crazy, but just get through the top of the show real quick and get into the show here because there's a lot of show to get to. Thank you for your reviews this week. Those Apple Podcasts, that purple icon, those are helpful. So if you want to help out the show, do that. Give us 5 stars. It really does help. Go to shutupandgivememurder.com for all of your merchandise needs. Yeah. Also, you can check out all your crime and sports stuff. Listen to Crime and Sports. What's wrong with you? Lots Lots of good stuff there. Check it out. This week's a good place to start. Yeah. Last week's anywhere's a good place to start Crime and Sports. Give it a run. Check that out. Also check out P.S. I Hate This Movie on Fridays, and buy tickets to live shows. Live shows are all rescheduled for 2021.
You're welcome.
Which is good. We're happy about that. At least they're scheduled now, and so any tickets you buy, even if they get rescheduled again, you'll have them for when that happens. But hopefully they'll go on in 2021. We'll be very excited about that. If you want to be a producer of the show, have Jimmie mispronounce your name brutally at the end of the show, which is a lot of fun. Yeah. Not only that, have access to all the bonus material that we have in store here. We're talking all the Crime and Sports bonus material, all the Small Town Murder bonus. We had a violent felon prisoner dating game a couple weeks ago. This week here, we're going to have a pretty wild case from Illinois. We're going to do like a mini murder case.
Fun.
And it is it's insane. Trailer park and many people. It involves duct tape and lots of murder.
It's been 2 months since that, yes?
Yes, I think so, since we did a little mini case.
Lady.
Maybe, yeah, exactly. So we're going to do that now and check that out for the bonus episode. That is patreon.com/crime and sports is where you can do that. And if you just want to be a great person with awesome karma, you can go to PayPal and make a donation, and using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. Disclaimer quickly.
Sure.
First of all, it's a comedy show. This is a comedy show where we are telling a story that's a murder. So you might go, that's a strange decision to pair those two together. That's what we're doing. Right. So if you don't think that they should go together, you shouldn't listen to the show.
This is not for you.
It's not for you. No. But if you think, if maybe you have a little bit of a dark sense of humor and you think, you know what, there are things around a murder that are funny.
Yeah.
It's obviously not funny during a murder.
No.
We're not saying, then the knife plunged into his chest and we're like, oh my God, he severed the aorta. That's great. That's not what's happening at all. There's a lot of craziness that goes on around murders, and that's what we like to focus on. And also there's a lot of crazy murder, but we don't make jokes about the actual murder part so much. And what we don't make jokes about, and we go out of our way not to joke about, is we try not to make fun of the victim or the victim's family as well, because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags, Jimmy.
All right.
That's how that works. So if that sounds good to you, man, are we going to have a wild time. Enjoy. If you think true crime and comedy should never go together, first of all, I think maybe you're probably misjudging us, number one. You should maybe give it a shot. But if you don't like it, don't complain later, because we warned you. Yeah. That sounds good. Fine. Everybody sit back. Let's do this. Let's start this out from the bottom of your lungs. Shout, shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, Jimmy.
All right.
Let's go on a trip here.
I'd love to.
Let's do it. We're going all the way to Vermont this week. All the way.
Be there for 2 weeks now.
To quarantine for 2 weeks. Going all the way to Vermont. Now, actually, you know what? I have a bit of good news, and I'll save it for the very end of the show. A very, very piece of good news. I'm going to save it for kind of the end, where there's a part where it's going to bum you out, and I'm going to say, guess what, though, and tell you something good. So it's going to cheer you right up. So
all right.
Make sure to get, stay tuned for that. So it's Enosburgh, Vermont.
Gross.
We're going to. Yes, Enosburgh, Vermont. It's Enosburgh.
They call it Enos?
Enosburgh.
Don't do that.
I know. Who knows? Enosburgh.
That's what they should do.
It might be. Who knows? What do you think? People mention this in public anywhere? No. This is the first time.
Anytime anybody would tell me they're from Enosburgh, I'd look at them a bit sideways.
Right. Well, then in this area, Enosburgh covers like East Enosburgh and West Enosburgh and North Enosburgh. There's like 3,000 people in the whole area, but they have like 45 little towns of all Enosburgh.
Got to give all the description of on the Enos where they're at.
Well, you want to hear more? There's also Enosburgh Falls.
That's gross.
That's terrible. I was saving that one for last. That's why it's the grossest.
Disgusting.
There's Enosburgh Falls, which doesn't spell it the same either. They spell it without the H. It's literally half a mile this way, included in their population zone. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
What the fuck?
So this explains it. This is the far northwest corner of Vermont.
Okay.
Vermont's a weird state if you've ever been there. And the farther north you go, the weirder it gets. Once you get to Canada, it restarts again. You know what I mean?
That's the reset.
It starts at zero again because the Canadians don't adhere to whatever's going on.
It turns over.
Yeah, it does, but it just gets weirder and weirder as you get farther north you go.
Just like a car. It starts to get real weird as those miles
rack up. Once it flips, boom, you're good. So this is practically Canada. It's right there.
Okay.
And Vermont is one big panhandle anyway, so it's have you seen Super Troopers? Yeah. That's Vermont. Mm-hmm. And that's, people are not surprised by that behavior. So it's about an hour to Burlington, Vermont, about 4 hours down to Boston, and about an hour and a half over to St. Johnsbury, which was episode 127, Menage a Nope, which was one of my favorite titles I've ever had.
Maybe the best ever.
Maybe my favorite I've ever come up with on that one. So it's a good episode, too. This is in Franklin County. Zip code, I'm only saying this because I love the 05450. That's awesome. That's great. 802 area code, 48 square miles. So that includes all the Weston, all the Penisburgs are in there. every one of the greater Penisburg metropolitan area is represented.
Down the shaft.
That's all the way down to the bulbous Enos Falls at the base.
It's so gross.
So, yeah. The Enosburgh here, like we said, it includes Enosburgh Falls, Bordeauxville, East Enosburgh, North Enosburgh, Sampsonville, West Enosburgh, and Enosburgh Center, of course.
Yeah.
And it was all named for Roger Enos, who was the commander of all the Vermont forces in the American Revolution.
He's a commander.
Commander Enos. Commander Penis, where shall we go?
Poor bastard.
I will lead you by the tip of my sword. Always leading by the tip of his something.
The amount of time.
God, we're 12.
I know.
His name rhymes with penis, and we can't stop giggling. That's literally how far we fall.
Well, the poor fuck has to be the guy in charge.
We want to do high-minded comedy and be smart, and we try at times, but sometimes when a guy's name rhymes with penis, we have to be 12 because that's who we are.
Poor fucking guy.
Yeah, that's what you get there, Penis Man. So Roger Penis.
Yeah.
He was also the father-in-law of Ira Allen, who was the founder of Vermont. And so there's that. The town, as a commercial center now, it has a lot of stores and restaurants, kind of for the whole county. It's kind of the commercial center where you're going to get your gas and your restaurants and all that sort of shit now. But early pioneers decided to settle on top of a hill near the center of town because it was located on the Boston Post Road, which is a direct route from Boston to Montreal.
Got it.
So that's why they decided to make this town, because it was on a road.
That's right.
Two better places, or two fucking bigger places.
Or is that for the post office? The post road?
Yeah, it was the post road that the post office would take. The post, not the post office, but the postal carriers would be taking that, and so they would do that. And they also set it up there because they thought they were scared that there still might be Native Americans roaming the area, so they wanted to be on a hill so they could see them coming.
Smart.
They weren't around or bothering them at all, but they were just, let's make sure.
Yeah.
Keep a lookout.
Just in case.
Just in case. So 1796 is when settlers began moving in and building houses and shit like that. They had 143 people in 1800.
Wow.
Look at that. But it grew to 704 by 1810.
That's a lot of fucking.
That's a lot of fucking and moving and that sort of thing. They had a lot of shit here. See, Canada's right there as well, so they could kind of come down and go up, and they had multiple places to trade.
Okay.
They could go across the border. They could go over to Montreal. They could go down to Boston. They could go to New York. They had a lot of options, so that helped there. By 1870, they had 20 or so buildings. They had churches, all sorts of shit there happening. The one thing they had is a guy named Dr. B.J. Kendall. Dr. Blowjob Kendall of Penisburg.
How could he?
Come on, man.
Just go by your first name, Byron.
Jesus Christ almighty.
What is it, Brian?
What the fuck? Who knows? Dr. Kendall, they always call him. He wants to be called BJ. He insists on it. I insist you call me BJ. Alrighty.
I had a friend who was a cop, and her name was Billy Joe, and she insisted.
No. Yeah.
Billy Joe.
Remember,
never.
Kids in elementary school would have BJ, and by the 7th grade, they'd be Brian.
Yeah.
So by the 7th grade, kids knew what blowjobs were, and you were done. That was it. Hi, Brian. Brian? I didn't even know your name was Brian. Who's BJ? Shut up. Don't say that. Tired of being called blowjob all summer.
She was in her 40s. And I'm like, I can't do it. I know your husband. Don't do this.
Don't do this, man. So B.J. Kendall, Dr. B.J. Kendall, started making his cure for spavin.
What is that?
A common horse ailment.
Oh.
Okay, now this treatment put the town on the map basically, and the Spavin Cure Company would go on to build the village's first water system and the opera house. Right. That's how successful this was. This guy, old blowjob Kendall, had a drugstore on Main Street there and began experimenting with a bunch of recipes for different things, a bunch of prescriptions, things like that, searching for a cure for spavins, which it's a horse disease of the bone and hind hock or ankle joint, which his horse would be afflicted and
come up lame.
Be a problem. Yeah. So finally, he found a formula that he found to be very beneficial when applied to horses suffering this terrible ailment. So he named it Kendall Spavin Cure and sold it over this counter, and then he launched this huge advertising campaign, and it made the town famous. He made it in a barn behind his house, and there was so much demand from everywhere he couldn't keep up with demand. It got crazy, so he found some business partners who would, help like produce it, basically, mass produce this sort of thing. He found all this thing. He also found a bunch of other kind of minor ailment things but he found by mistake when he was trying to make the Spavin Cure here. So he was really doing well. Yeah. He's formulating all these other medicines, and it's really becoming a real popular thing. Now, the problem is, though, with it, it's like most of the medicines back then. There's just a lot of drugs or alcohol in it, basically, back then. This works great. Well, yeah, it's half morphine. That's why it works great.
Is that what it is?
Well, no, it's this one publication called it a, quote, goodly amount of alcohol.
He's just getting the fucking horse drunk?
The Spavin Cure contained 41% alcohol. And then a quick relief, which was a formula for humans to make them feel better for their human spavin, was 72% alcohol.
Oh my God.
And they said that might have been a factor in the person's relief. Well, yeah. If you drink something that's 72% alcohol, you're going to fucking feel better and then go to sleep. That's how it works.
You're not going to feel whatever hurts.
No, you're going to be like, I felt sick, but now I'm horny. It's super weird. Now I'm horny and I want a cheeseburger. What's going on here? What a weird medicine.
I like it.
I'm waking my wife up and with a cheeseburger in my hand. Wake up. Hey.
I can't talk for shit. I can't even communicate how horny I am.
That's
I'm just start pulling this out and rubbing on it.
Hold on, let me finish my cheeseburger. This is good. I got fries too.
Holy shit.
So, their biggest thing now, and has been for a while, because now this is a big dairy area. Mm-hmm. There's huge into dairy
cows
in this area.
Everywhere.
There's fucking cows. Vermont, Ben and Jerry's.
They love cheese,
goddamn
too.
Cow on the thing. Yeah, they're big into dairy up there and all that sort of shit. So they have the Enosburgh, Vermont Dairy Festival, founded in 1956, and that's a big deal. Draws tons of people there to showcase their agricultural industry. Now, reviews I found of this town, I found 2 reviews, and they are completely diametrically opposite. Really? So, yeah, subjective, apparently. Take what you will out of this. And
depends on who you are.
I guess it depends on your angle here. Here's one that's a 5-star. So excellent, terrific, couldn't be better.
Best place they've ever been.
Best place. Quote, Enosburgh is a small town where we all know each other. If you ever need a helping hand, someone is always there to give. Charity events, fundraisers, and benefit dances are always positive and full of everyone in your town. Sounds like a nightmare from 1952. Ugh. When you know one, you know all. It's easy to know who you may want to keep your distance from. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
The riffraff in town.
It's easy to know. They wear name tags.
It's easy to know who you want to keep your distance from and who will be there when needed. Oh, that's telling you there. The school is great. Diners are good and easy to have conversations at. Okay. And the country life and mountain views are astonishing. Downfalls are high taxes, not much for amusement parks. You're in the middle of the forest.
Right.
Ride a cow. Where do you expect up there? Oh, they're going to put a Six Flags in fucking West Penisburg, right in the middle of it all. Fuck out of here. Thrilling activities or shopping centers. There's no people. That's why. What do you expect? Let's build big businesses just for 5 people that live in the fucking farmland in the middle of nowhere.
It sounded like a review from like the person that plays Tinkerbell at Disneyland. It's easy to tell who's the villain here because we know them all.
They have horns and shit. They walk around going, the people, whoever's going, it's probably the bad guy. So that's how they tell in that town.
All the bad guys have a curly mustache.
Or can they twist it and go, So I found another one, and this is a poor review here. This is a 1-star review. Did not like it very much. This is awesome. Quote, Enosburgh Falls, which is right there, smells like cow manure for a lot of the summer, and farmers wear poop-covered boots into restaurants and cafes.
I'd negatively review the shit out of that, too.
Not good.
That's gross.
Excuse me, there's feces?
Maybe change your boots
everywhere
before you come to eat.
I like the, I'm going to get the Reuben and feces platter, but hold the feces if you would. Actually, hold the Reuben because the feces are everywhere. Can't help that. Tuna and feces, please.
Right.
Thank you. Feces melt you can get.
How do you
Very
make
nice.
the au jus around here?
I don't want to know. So the internet is very expensive, and all utilities are very expensive for that matter. You're in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
What do you want? To put it out there costs money.
What's the internet cost? I need him to give me a roundabout of his internet bill.
And then all the noise of the big city with the isolation and entertainment variety of BFE. Nothing to do. Close-minded folks. Old boy network runs the town. Yeah, it's expected.
Yeah.
But where is this noise coming from? That's what I want to know. What big city noise are you experiencing? Are the cows mooing loudly? Right. What the fuck big city noise is happening out here?
Did they pave that postal route with a 13-lane fucking freeway?
Gee, that's what I mean. What is happening here that it's such a goddamn big deal? Well, the people here, population 2,771 in Enosburgh. It's a lot of basically college kids and old farmers. Okay. That's who lives here, kind of a thing. So, more females than males. Median age is a little bit older. It's about 44, but there's, like I said, a bunch of old people here.
What college is up there?
I have no fucking idea. With poop-covered boots, old people. I don't know.
Ball State, somewhere else's Shaft State.
There's absolutely. There's Taintburg. Yeah. U is right, I think, down south of a drop, just south of there, right? Yeah. So the married people here are less because you have old people and young people, which they have dead spouses and haven't found spouses yet. So you got that there. Married population with children is lower, but there's a lot more single people with children. Really? Those kids will fucking have kids. So that's what happens. The race of this town it's Vermont, so it's pretty white, as you might imagine. 91.5% white, as a matter of fact. 6.2% black, which I was honestly shocked about.
Wait a minute.
That's shocking.
Did you say 95?
91.5% white.
I was going to say, you can't do that in 6%.
And 6.2% black, which is, like I said, I was honestly shocked. I don't know how that's been. 0.0% Asian, 0.0% Hispanic.
Wild.
Out of almost 3,000 people.
Wow.
Not one Hispanic person. That's insane. That's crazy. So the religion here, it's a little bit under. It's usually 50-50 here. It's about 43.5%. Yeah. A lot of Catholics. Yeah. About 35% Catholic. As we know, Catholics are the Baptists of the North. So that's what happens. 0.0% Jewish, which wow, there's no Jewish people.
Another one.
That's interesting.
Close to New York.
Yeah, Boston and, other cities.
It's the East Coast.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, 0.0% Islam as well. Franklin County here was 44% Democrat in the last election, about 40% Republican, almost 16% independent here because it's Bernie Sanders' home state. Right. So I think you had a lot of write-ins there, I would assume. So unemployment rate here is really low. This is kind of world on fire here. So it was 2.3% here. Interesting. Which is way lower than most. Median household income, though, isn't exactly that high either, though. It's usually about $57,000. Here, it's about $47,000.
But almost everybody's got a job. That's nice.
And the cost of living, as we'll find out, is pretty low. 100 is regular, average. Here it's about 90, the cost of living. Okay. By the way, they have 4.1% of their jobs are forestry related. Really? Which is like usually 0% of anything.
4%.
4%. Mm-hmm. So there's some forest shit going on. The housing is low. It's a 65 out of 100. Median home cost $151,200. So pretty low. And I found some places that were even lower here. 50% of the houses were built before 1939.
My Christ.
Which is the average is usually about 20% in the rest of the country. So that is real. It's old.
Yeah.
They haven't added a lot to it.
And it depends, too, if those things have been taken care of, because they could be
they could be great,
houses, those old ones.
And the population here has kind of stayed really on par for a long time. It hasn't gone up, it hasn't gone down. It's just kind of stayed in the ballpark here.
People have been staying in these houses a long time.
Well, if you want to stay in a house for a long time, I can help you find one. We have for you the Enosburgh, Vermont Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here goes for about $1,315, which is
that's steep,
above the national average. Yeah, it's cheaper to buy than rent here by far. Now, if you want to buy, let's say you want to pitch a tent or build a house, I found a 6.8 acre lot of trees here, just tons of trees, $45,000.
Wow,
not bad at all.
That's awesome.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, and there was other lots too, 10 acres, 20 acres that were pretty reasonable.
I'd love to have that.
Not bad. I found a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 846 square foot manufactured house.
Nothing to it.
Not really that great, but I mean, if you need something, it'd be good for like an old single person, like a widow or something good in there. $89,000 for that. So not bad if you want to retire. Or I found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,800 square foot family house. Kind of looks like a barn. It's red and has like a barn look to it because it's Vermont. So it's not an actual barn, but it's kind of painted to look like a barn. It's nice though. $289,900 for that. That comes with a few acres too. Though you're going to get like 10 acres with that. So
I've seen houses with the barn, and that looks kind of cool. But if your house is the barn,
up in the Northeast there, you'll see that sometimes, especially like in Vermont, where it's like, you'll see houses that kind of look like barns. They're kind of designed to look like a barn. It's like a barn-style house kind of a thing. I don't know what the fuck. That's folksy, I guess.
I hate it.
Well, who knows? I think that's how they were building houses in 1930, maybe. You know what I mean? Possibly, too. A lot of these houses are so old, so who knows? Now, things to do here. There is one thing to do here,
oh boy.
And it's all that they care about here. It's the Vermont Dairy Festival, everybody. Oh, boy. And you know what it says right on the front page of their website?
No.
Vermont Dairy Festival, right under that. The pig races are back!
Oh,
exclamation point.
They are jacked.
They're back!
Yeah.
Fuck yeah!
When they're super
by popular
fast,
demand.
When they're super fast, does that make the bacon better?
I think so. Well, no, less. That'll make it leaner, probably. So you don't want that. You want a little fat in there, I think.
You
That's
want the slow
point.
one. You want the fat, lazy, slow
He looks
one.
a little, a guy falls asleep like halfway through the race. That's the pig you want the bacon
But
from.
the fast one makes the good ham.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
maybe. There's no such thing as good ham. Ham is gross.
You hate ham.
Fucking gross. I like any kind of like any of the Italian hams, like a prosciutto, shit like that. Ham is disgusting. It smells like a fart and tastes like a salt lick. Why would I eat that? And it's pink. What am I eating? It's not.
I love a ham and Swiss.
Gross. Fucking hate ham. Ham and bologna. I can't eat any of that.
I think I knew that, but I think I've forgotten that.
I don't eat ham at all.
I like being reminded of that.
No ham. It's nasty. Smelled it in my mind. I was like, ugh. So, the milking contest.
Yeah.
Calling all kids.
That's free.
Calling all kids! Exclamation point. Come milk a cow! Exclamation point.
Get your hands on these cow
Come
tits.
Jerk the milk out of these cow tits. So the youth milking contest starts at 2 p.m. That sounds like you're milking the youth.
Right.
The youth milking contest is not okay. That sounds like who can...
Up here in Enosburgh.
Yeah, up here in Enosburgh, we milk the youth. We have a contest at 2 p.m. Sunday. And whoever can milk that youth the best, that is disgusting.
That does not discern from male or female. That is creepy.
It should be the cow milking contest for youths.
Right.
That should be how it's not the youth milking contest. Youth milking contest.
When you leave the cow out of it entirely.
It says it on their website. The youth milk. Jimmie, I copped. Look at that. It's a picture. It's direct.
That's disgusting.
Youth milking.
Yeah.
So it's divided into 3 age groups, too. Oh, that makes it even grosser. 5 to 7.
Oh.
You're not going to get much out of that group. 8 to 10 still. 11 to 13. They're going to.
That's all the product.
Whoever gets that's going to win, I think. You're going to get that category.
You'll fill a bucket.
I think yeah. And it says, quote, come give it a try. Which makes it even worse.
How did they spell it, James?
No, they spelled it normal, but still, to say all that and then say, come give it a try,
That's
makes
gross.
it even worse. Don't believe all the stuff you heard. You can milk a boy.
Don't knock it till you tried it.
Who says you can't milk a 4th grader?
We're extra Catholic up here. Come let us prove it.
That's right. Sponsored by the Catholic Church, the Youth Milking Contest. Father O'Donoghue will oversee the. Just gave him an Irish name. I don't know.
Michael Jackson soundtrack.
Will oversee.
Milk a kid to beat it.
Oh my God.
Father O'Donoghue gives the blessing.
That's right. Delee will just be keeping track of them for later.
Asking if they got a sister.
Yeah. Like a sister who's an older, not too much older.
Not much.
But somewhat. So,
holy shit.
That's the most disgusting thing we've ever encountered.
Ever.
I don't know. Youth milking God. Oh,
who
God.
your parents have keep an eye on you when they leave the house. That's who I want.
Come give it a try, everybody. Step on up here.
God damn it.
Wow. Then we have Thursday night is that's the first night. I don't know how you'd have any energy left for anything else.
Your forearm's about to be real sore.
Yeah, then it's the Vermont Dairy Festival Scholarship Pageant, which you mix that with a youth milking contest. I don't like where this is going.
Guess the winner of the milking gets the scholarship.
That's what I imagine. That's all I can imagine. He makes the most spunk. So for that day, also the Dennis Kane Memorial Youth Run, away from people trying to milk them, I assume. It's 12 and under. Run, kids, run! People are trying to give it a try.
Memorial.
This is a disaster.
Is it named after the kid who got like...
You're going to hate what's up next, too. It's so...
Tug first. Dennis Kane, was that his name?
Yeah, Enosburgh. This is just awful. Dennis Kane, Enosburgh, Shaftlingtown.
Unbelievable.
Taintsville. Then there's bingo under the bingo tent, which sounds like you're jerking someone off under something. Then 5 p.m., Isaac French will be there, who's a local singer and songwriter. He'll be on the Got Milk stage, which, again, I'm really disgusted here.
When is this?
This is in June, I think. It's
of this year?
Yeah, they had to postpone it till
They're
next
hanging
year.
on to the Got Milk campaign from 2004.
Oh, it's still, that's what the dairy industry is going on here. And they have a no-limit Texas Hold'em tournament here. Yeah. Then Super Bingo. If regular bingo wasn't enough for you, $250 payout for this one. Yeah. Again, under the bingo tent here. Sponsored. Oh, then on the bandstand, Son of a Gun Rock and Roll.
Oh, boy.
That sounds like a band right there. Then we're going to have a 50-50 raffle. What else we got going on here? More raffles. Introduction of dignitaries and guests. Then at 10 a.m., on Saturday, I believe here, Pirate Dan's going to be there, everybody. Yeah. Pirate Dan roaming the parade route on his ship.
Wait, what?
Pirate Dan, everybody. He sounds like a local DJ, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I'm Pirate Dan with Rock and Roll 101.5.
So they don't know that pirate ships go in the ocean?
Vermont's wildest, craziest, kid milkingest station in the entire Northeast, everybody.
The pirate ship of Vermont.
Yeah.
They don't even have a beach.
Nope, but he's there. Pirate Dan.
Ridiculous.
Then there's a dairy baking contest.
Mm-hmm.
Baking dairy, I suppose. Then there's antiques and famous barbecue chicken. Oh, boy, the Masonic Hall has the barbecue chicken. Right. Sylvia Fletcher, comedic ventriloquist, will be on the Got Milk stage, followed by a mass suicide.
Right.
Jesus fucking Christ. Which I will lead, personally, if I had to watch that shit.
Comedian magician? Ventriloquist.
Ventriloquist, not magician.
Way worse.
Then they have Marco Magic Show, which is a comedic magician here. There.
And we all drink spoiled milk.
More bingo. Robert Clark, magician, juggler, funny guy is what it says. Ooh, boy. In other words, asshole is what that says to me. Then Farmer Tom will be there to discuss life on the farm and stories and songs.
Oh, boy.
Holy shit. Then Sylvia Fletcher's got a 4:30 set.
Oh, she's got an encore.
Yeah. Then 5:15 they present the rising star Isabella Elkins on the bandstand stage. Oh boy, fireworks, country music at its best. They're going to have here more fireworks, pancake breakfasts. Holy shit. What is this? Cabin bullshit. I don't know what's going on. The pedal pull.
This is again, a whole weekend?
It's everything, man.
Good Lord.
Drawings for Jake the Steak.
Oh no.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, it's a pun of Jake the Snake.
Yeah, obviously.
And
then
the
big steak
because
maybe.
Of the cows.
And then cow plop bingo to round out the weekend, which I assume.
Wait, what?
Cow plop bingo, which I assume maybe you use cow shit as a marker. Not sure.
Yeah.
Crime rate in this town.
Wow. That's how they have fun.
That's how they get down over there, milking kids. So crime rate in this town.
And they open with that.
That's their opener. That's right up front. Well, you got to get everyone's attention. Nothing's going to get their attention like
That'll grab them.
The 5 to 7 year old kid milking competition. I don't
You really got to grab them. I know how we can grab them.
I know how we can grab them. That's going to get their attention. I'll tell you what. If nothing else, it's going to get their attention.
Once you grab them, you don't let go.
And Ben and Jerry have turned away from this whole event. So crime rate in this town, property crime is slightly high, but not too high. And violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime, is about half the national average.
Great.
So it's kind of like where there's a lot of college kids. You get a higher property crime, but they don't kill each other as much. So that's helpful. That's good. Yeah. So that said, let's talk about a murder because we got a weird one for you today. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked, God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. You need that money a couple days early, or go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
It's not that they're all not a little off. We never have one where it's like, oh, man, well, that was pretty... I don't know. Nothing happened.
Dry.
Yeah, nothing happened there. It's never like that.
Case.
Well, he walked in, he robbed him, and walked outside. Police pulled up, caught him. All right, then. That never happens.
Thank God for that.
Oh, boy. So November 4th, 1976 is where this story starts. Mm-hmm. It's important to say starts because it lingers and goes and twists and turns and... Whoa, it's weird. So let's talk about a young lady at this point in time. Okay. Let's talk about Lori Gonyo, is her name, Gonyo. Lori, she's 29 years old right now. Her birthday is November 30th, 1946. And here's Lori. I can show you a picture of Lori right there. She's got like
big hair,
big old late 60s, early 70s. I think that's her high school picture or something. So yeah, it's a big thing here. But anyway, she graduates from Essex Junction High School and attends also Johnson State Teachers College.
Wow.
So she started out as studious. Yeah. She's born in 46, so she graduated in 64.
Yeah.
I mean, that's she's like the Beach Boys are on the radio and shit. That's interesting.
She wore a poodle skirt.
Yeah. That's that's also a very, tumultuous time there. That's right. Civil rights is coming in. There's lots of shit going on in 64, but not in northern Vermont.
Up there, it's mum's the word.
Well, moo's the word, I think, is more like
whatever noise a moose makes is the noise. That's the word.
Moo is the word because there's just cows looking
moose
at you.
Bugle is the word.
That's it right there. So, so she was born in Burlington, Vermont, and but then ended up up north a little bit here. Her parents are Willard, and Barbara. Her original name is Lori Arms. Later on, she'll be Lori Gonyo. Her husband here is named Ricky. Now, here is her husband.
How's he look?
I'll show you him there.
All right.
He's a 70s guy.
Run-of-the-mill 70s.
Terrier, got a beard.
Sideburns. Oh, it's a whole beard.
Beard, mustache combination.
Adorable dog.
Little dog there.
Sideways face.
See that in the background? What's that, Jimmie?
That is a trailer, my friend.
That is a trailer. It's definitely a trailer. So they're married in 1971, these two. And it's been this is a change for Lori. Yeah. Lori, at some point between 1964 or 5, because then she went to teachers college for a couple of years, sometime between 1965 or so and 1971, Lori had went through a lot. Yeah. She had a very strange personal life, and then by 1971, she meets Ricky and settles right down and completely changes her life. Yeah, it's very interesting here. So they were married in 71. They moved to East Enosburgh in 1974.
Yeah.
There, they rented a house, which was in the area, which was down the road from land they eventually buy. They save up money while they're there renting this home to buy a plot of land up the street that they want. And it's got a trailer on it.
Yeah.
And they want to do that. It's got some it's about 20 acres of land with a trailer and a horse barn.
Okay.
So, they're interested in that lifestyle.
Okay.
So they rent a house, and then after a couple years, they end up buying the land, and they paid cash for the trailer and 20 acres.
Okay.
That's they saved up cash. They
didn't
even mortgage it.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what that would go for in Vermont.
Sure.
Because it's not that expensive now in Vermont up there. So
but
back then,
that 6 acres was 45 $5,000, was it?
Yeah, something like
20.
that.
I mean, depending on if this is better
Inflation.
land, there may be some shitty parts of this.
Yeah.
It probably paid upwards of
who knows?
$600, $400.
Yeah, you know what, Jimmie, you're absolutely right, I think. Which, I mean, they could have made payments, but, $8-12 a month, I think, would have done the trick there. So, they saved it, though. It's the trailer was atop a little hill, this little plot of land here. So they did that. Now, Lori has had some problems, like I said. Before all of this goes down and she meets Ricky and everything, and after she goes to teachers college, you don't expect a whole lot of craziness. She had been arrested multiple times on drug charges and also on prostitution charges in 1968 as well.
What happened, Lori?
So Lori, I don't know what went on with Lori in the late 60s, but she had a hard time. Obviously, she somehow got into drugs, which I assume, got her into prostitution after that, probably for a drug habit, I would assume. But by 71, all that shit is behind her. She marries Ricky, and they're living, trying to save up money for a trailer, and they're doing fine.
Or maybe she just did it to get through college. Who knows?
Yeah, well, who lives after college? Okay. So we don't even know.
She just student loan debt. I don't know.
From what her mom says, she kind of just got off the path a little bit, but then got back on it. So I mean, hey, people fuck up, and who knows? People have shitty things in their life. I know plenty of people that are complete disasters.
I know people that are pretty successful right now that I know they were shitbags and did horrible things.
Yeah.
And I pray that they never go back. But the day that they do, I hope that they don't delete their Facebook because I want to follow.
Oh yeah, I want to watch it happen. Yeah, you want to watch it fall apart.
I love that.
But I know people who are fucking criminals and heavy into drugs and heavy into shit like that that are completely straight and narrow now with their kids and their job, and that's what I mean. They're on Facebook with their...
Your friends don't even know about this? Mm-mm. I know about you. I see you.
I notice no one commenting on your shit is anybody I know. So these are new people. So one day here in 1976, like I said, November 4th, 1976, like any other day, they had bought their trailer and a little while before. Yeah. So Ricky, the husband here, he is leaving for work, leaves work that morning, and he comes home in the afternoon, and Lori is not home.
Oh, no.
And he's like, where the hell is Lori? The front door of the trailer is open, which is... odd, but not mind-blowing. Yeah. They don't live in, the South Bronx or something.
Sometimes you leave it open for air.
Yeah, you leave it open for air. They live in the middle of nowhere here. There's other trailers around, but they're, all these people, so it's not like a big deal. The only thing that was askew in the house was a TV tray. Mm-hmm. Like that fold.
Yeah, that dinner tray.
The dinner tray there. Yeah, the TV tray was tipped over, leaning up against a couch in the living room. Okay. And there was an empty teacup on the floor and a tea bag under the couch. That's it.
That says struggle to me, though.
But that's it, though.
Yeah,
that would be a really...
It's a fast struggle.
That's a struggle between ghosts. You know what I mean?
Or a cat went crazy.
It's literally a tray fell and a cup fell off. Right. Like that's the extent of the crazy here, the damage to the house. So
but the tea bag under the couch, it's not like that.
It's like because the cup is because they would have fallen off and bounced and whatever. It doesn't look like somebody threw it under the couch or something like that. No one's like, I'm going to hide this tea bag. Right. No one will find it under the couch.
Well, I could see somebody throwing the cup and then the trajectory launking that tea bag out.
Yeah, it wasn't one like that. It was just falling right by the tray. So otherwise, there's nothing broken. There's nothing missing. There's nothing, destroyed. There's no entrance, any forced entry, anything like that. Her pocketbook and money are there, which is, again, that you would think if someone was going to, struggle, that would be what they're struggling for. Right. Otherwise, what are they doing? So pocketbook and money are still in the trailer. And basically, it looked like she went out without her jacket and boots, which is in November in Vermont.
Yeah, you don't do that.
It's pretty cold. Yeah. So that was a weird thing. So basically, he calls the police right away because he just hadn't seen her. So he goes, I don't know where she is. Her boots and stuff are here. Her purse is here. She's gone. This is weird. Right. Calls the police. The state police show up the next day with fucking bloodhounds and shit.
The next day.
Yeah. There's nothing else going on. Right. They're like, oh shit, missing person.
Yeah.
She's barely missing. They're like, it's cool. Let's get the bloodhounds. They bring them out. They go all around the house and everything like that. They pick up nothing. No blood, no scent, no shit. It just seems like she literally was beamed up by aliens while she sat on the couch drinking a cup of tea.
And her knees pushed the table over.
That was it. She sat there and was beamed up, knocked the tray over, and it just kept going up through the ceiling and was gone.
Right.
That's what it seems like happened.
Wild.
It's strange. Or beamed out the front door gently.
Right.
something very weird here.
Shut it behind her.
Yeah. Or she was angry and ran off. But who goes out without your purse and money and boots?
Yeah, I mean, you need the purse for the ID if you just won the lottery.
That's the other thing. Yeah.
If you're going to leave this guy in the trailer behind, you generally need the pocketbook.
And she had money in her wallet, too. There's money in her purse just sitting there, which is odd. So, they talked to Ricky, obviously, the husband here, because his story is I got home and she's gone. So they're like, okay, well, let's check on that. Clearly, he says the last time he saw her was at 5:30 a.m. Said he was leaving for work early in the morning. He said he dressed and he was getting ready to leave their trailer there. He works in Essex, which is, we've done Essex, by the way.
New Hampshire?
Yeah, New Hampshire was one, or Vermont.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, we've done Essex, Vermont. That's one of our cases. I don't remember, one of the first two.
And that's where he went to.
That's where he works. It's about an hour away. So it's a drive. So he was building a house for his father-in-law there. That's what he was working on. And he said that Lori was still in bed when he left. He said, quote, I brought her in a cup of coffee like I always do. She said, I love you. And then I left. Yeah. So that's his story so far. So
and then she switches from coffee to tea at some point during.
Apparently switches from coffee to tea, and I don't know, either took off or we don't know what the hell happened here. So that's his story, though, which is, it's fine to give that story, but right now the police obviously look at the spouse first.
Oh, number one,
and he's just like, I just left and I came home and beamed into the sky.
Yeah.
So they're a little, we don't know about this. They don't know about anything. Who the hell knows? They don't know what happened here. So he said when he got home and was looking for her, he went out to the small barn to see if maybe she was out feeding the horses, because they have gotten a couple horses that she's been really into lately.
Oh, yeah.
And so he said, maybe she's out grooming and feeding the horses and doing horse shit.
Yeah.
Maybe she's milking a kid out there. We don't know.
You don't know.
She could be practicing for the big dairy festival. She's got a whole fucking 5th grade class in there. She's just practicing. Oh my God, that is I'm still fucking twisted by that. Out of this whole case, there's going to be awful shit that happens. Nothing can top the youth milking contest. That's the thing. We've already peaked with our grossness. So she's not out there, and the horses haven't been fed either.
Really?
Yeah, and he could tell because there's remnants and shit, and that's clean. They haven't been fed. So
and the trough is empty.
Yeah, he's like, okay, that's odd. So he's said he doesn't know what's going on. He had built the barn over the course of the last year or so for his wife, and she has 2 mares of her own, and also takes care of an Arabian stallion that belongs to her sister in Connecticut.
Awesome.
So it's housed up here.
Yeah.
So she takes care of these 3 horses all the time. Like I said, 2 are hers. So he couldn't find her. That's when he called State Trooper Leo Willie in Enosburgh Falls, and he called Corporal William Kitchell. Everybody's a Willie and a William and fucking Jesus, who's a state police detective, and they brought the bloodhounds over, and the Willie said, quote, there were some scents, but nothing really strong, nothing for the bloodhounds to go on. So, I mean, vanished, thin air, fucking crazy. So he says that the state police at that point say they have no leads, and they consider her a missing person. They don't consider her a victim of something. They consider her to have left, because there's no sign of a struggle. Bloodhounds pick up nothing as far as blood or even trace of anything, of other people, of anything like that. No struggle, no anything. The cops are like, Ricky, I understand you're upset, to the husband, but we think maybe your wife just took off, dude. And,
that's
we're not
the extent of a police investigation back then.
That's it. They look around, had a dog sniff, and they're like, she must have left you.
Right.
Or you killed her. Right. One of the two. That's literally their 2 things.
They got to pull him aside and either tell him he's a loser and she hates him, or you're a murderer.
One of the 2. That's
Which
what they think.
Worse?
Either we think you did it, because there's no sign of a struggle and things like that, so you're hiding her somewhere. Or... yeah.
Our investigation hasn't included, she fucking hates you.
She went back to the streets. One of the 2.
That's painful.
She went back to,
There's no Grissom coming in with fingerprints and DNA.
No.
A dog sniffed your house, said you're a loser.
3 cops named Willie have a dog on a leash, and they go, what now, boy?
3 cops named Willie, dog's named Willie.
Dog says you're a loser. That's what he told me. He said your wife don't like your penis no more. That's what happened.
Good dog, Willie.
Good dog, Willie. Willie knows things.
We named him Willie, not after any of us, just after Mr. Nelson.
Just after. It all works out, though. Oh, man. So nothing there. So, yeah, they said that, who knows? Now, Ricky at the same time is, because this is the police are telling the newspapers, missing person. Yeah. That's what this case is. And Ricky is going to the newspapers on his own. The husband saying, no, she's not. He thinks she was carried out of the trailer against her will. Yeah. That's what he thinks.
I'm not a loser.
I'm not a loser. My penis is wonderful.
She loves me.
I'm the best goddamn kid milker in this fucking county, and don't you goddamn forget it. I win the scholarship every year.
And then I donate it to the poor fella.
And I donate it. That's right. So, yeah, that's what he thinks. So they search. They're looking at her as a missing person, but they're kind of giving it some lip service. Yeah, we'll take a look around for her type of thing. But Ricky and his friends, go fan out into the woods for days. They're just traipsing through the woods for days looking for Lori.
As you would as a husband who the police you feel like are giving up on you.
Or as you would if you're someone who doesn't want to look like you killed your wife, too.
Another good point.
One of the two.
Honestly, you got to go walk.
Either way, you got to go for a fucking walk around those woods. Doesn't matter whether you did it or not.
Let's go.
It is fucking imperative that you take a stroll around those woods. Just Lori! Lori!
I heard something. Y'all hear that? Lori, is that you?
Lori? Oh, it's a raccoon. All right. Well, I don't know. I don't see her.
Walking.
So, yeah, but Ricky here, they don't know. So he's going through and he's searching through the woods, him and his friends. He's everywhere. So he tells the press, Ricky does, she was carried out of here. The bloodhounds couldn't find a trace of her. So that's why he thinks that she was carried out of the place. So, the next day, the cops are talking. This is Police Corporal William Kitchell here. He says, quote, there was no evidence of foul play or violence in the trailer. And they didn't have anything with the bloodhound. So they're like, as far as we can tell, she took off. Sorry. Have a good one. Yeah. Have a good one, press. Yeah. So that's it. Ricky, though, is not letting it go at that. He says that he's inviting the press over to talk. He really wants to get it out there in case anybody sees her. So he talks to the press from his house. He says that he came home. He says, quote, I noticed the door was open, and he points to the front door. He said, quote, her jacket and boots were over there, pointing to the living room. He said he called out to her, but there was no answer. He said, quote, there was a TV tray sort of tipped over a little near the couch. It wasn't even it was just leaning on the couch. I saw a cup halfway under the couch and a tea bag on the floor. Sorry, I had those backwards. He said he noticed a small stain on the couch. He said it was still wet. It looked like some tea had been spilled. Mm-hmm. So nothing, that's not a major, it was just a little bit. Right. And he said, quote, all her money, her pocketbook, and her cigarettes were there. Nothing was missing. Mm-hmm. Okay. If you're taking off and you smoke, you're leaving with A, your money, and B, your cigarettes. Yep. Period.
Absolutely.
Done and done.
I'm never leaving without them if I smoke.
And I'm leaving somewhere for good. I'm running away. Yeah. I'm going to need cigarettes in this situation. Even if I don't smoke.
Run out, I'm going to fucking need money to buy them.
To buy some cigarettes.
Because I'm going to lose my fucking mind in about 2 hours.
On the lam with no cigarettes. This is a fucking bad times for all here. So there's theories are flying around everywhere. The press, the cops. The cops' theory to the press is she left. Yeah. Shrug. I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Ricky's is she must have been carried out. Now her family has other theories. Oh. Her mother has theories. Her sister has theories. They have family friends who have theories. Ricky has theories.
Dangerous.
And they're all telling the newspaper all these theories. Yeah. So there's this. Let's put them all out there. Yeah. What people think is floating around. I just see her in a UFO at this point. Yeah. Just
the only person enjoying themselves is the author of those news articles. It's like I've got a new story next day.
Yeah, I get you because every day it's different. Because you can talk to this guy, and you'd be like, oh, then his sister said that, and her sister said that. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, a recurring fucking column.
And it was, too, because as we'll talk about Lori remaining missing, it goes on, and people talk, and they, talk, and more theories, and more things, and more bullshit, and everybody's got a fucking opinion on, because, it's like now, if you hear, take whatever cold case that's out there, a famous cold case, and everyone's got an opinion on it.
Oh, my God. Everyone. Anybody that's ever met her is the murderer.
Ask anyone, hey, did you listen to Serial when it was out? Yeah. And they will go into an extensive diatribe of exactly what they believe happened to Heyman Lee and exactly what Adnan, whether he did it or he didn't. And then Don was in there and this one, but I don't know about that.
It's fairly convincing no matter who argues
if you look at his time cards at Lens Crafters, you got to put it on Don, but then I got Adnan over here. You will get that from a very sane, normal person. They will go down a rabbit hole for 45 fucking minutes about it. And that's something they don't even know the person. Right. They just saw it on TV or heard it on a podcast. Yep. Meanwhile, this is happening with a real human being
in their lives,
right. And they're just like, well, I have an opinion. Let me give it. And they're just spouting off at the fucking mouth,
right?
Which is I've never really seen in a murder case before. No. Or not a murder, a missing person in anything case.
Right.
It's just weird in our history anyway. So her mother, this is Lori's mother, her name is Barbara Arms. She and also her sister Karen.
Her name is Barbie Arms?
Barbie Arms. Barbie Arms and Karen Champ. She's a champion level Karen. So Karen Champ, that's Lori's mother and sister. Karen is the one who has the Arabian stallion that Lori takes care of.
Gosh, she lives in Connecticut.
Absolutely. So they don't even agree.
No.
They have differing theories, and they're both going to give them to the paper.
Oh my God.
So, and they're very fucking different too.
How about the family comes together and has like a joint statement? You know what I mean? You can't all have
joint statement.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
As a family?
Get the fuck out.
You guys gotta all say it all together.
Jimmy,
you can't.
You talk individually to reporters and put as much murkiness and muckiness in there as you can. Disseminate disinformation is what you want to do when you need your relative found.
Jesus Christ.
Put out as much cloudiness. You really want to really muddy the waters, I'd say, you know.
This is why we don't know where Madeleine McCann is.
There's a lot of people we don't know where they are because of this.
Right.
So her mother here, this is fucking wild. Let's give her sisters first. Yeah. This is Karen Champ. Her sister is her older sister. She says that Lori left Vermont after attending Johnson State College for a year. So she went to the teacher's college for a year, and then, according to her sister, quote, she got involved with the wrong kind of people in Philadelphia and New York City. Yeah. That's different. This was when she was still single, when she was in her early 20s. She says, quote, I don't know too much about that, but the only time I ever heard from her was when she was in trouble or needed some money. And she said that she also said, her sister, that she thought possibly a lot of the people she hung out with were not exactly law-abiding people. Yeah. And, who knows what that could be, too, if she's back involved with drugs. Or if these people have some kind of old beef with her or something. That's what she said.
Why are you trying to dig up her past, though, lady?
That's what I mean. She's voluntarily giving all this information. Which, I mean, honestly, if you're looking for a missing person, you need to know all this information. Sure. Because if that happened, maybe she is in Philadelphia somewhere, with a fucking needle in her arm. Yeah. That you need to know that. That's where she is. You can find her then.
But if she's been back in Vermont and doing fine and has a husband and takes care of horses, how about we don't jump to the first conclusion that, I don't know, maybe she's back to hooking and doing drugs again.
And then beamed into thin air, though. But yeah, you'd have to give a background on somebody missing of where she could possibly, because it wasn't like that was 20 years ago. Yeah. That was 5 years ago. This
seems
happened.
Like an awful lot, though.
So it seems like an awful lot, but
enough time to reset, I think.
How many? Okay, crime and sports wise,
you got a good point.
How many people are like, I'm fine, and then 9 years later they're like fucking holding a fucking Bennigan's hostage with a machine gun while they smoke crack in one hand and fucking grope a woman with the other,
and a girl with her hand slammed in a car door is out front and can't go anywhere.
Please, just let him have whatever he wants. This hurts. That's what's going on. Who knows?
I don't know. This is coming from a Karen, too. That's fucked up. Is every Karen grim?
Yeah, well, then she says this, though. Then she says, quote, I don't think she left home voluntarily. I think she's out of state, though. She's saying that she thinks she took off and whatever. She said that her sister was happy living out there the last few years. She's been happy. She rode horses every day and spent long hours looking after them. And, she thought she was happy up there, but that's her former life, which is a really weird thing to tell the paper.
It really is.
We don't know, though. She could have talked to the paper for a half hour, and they picked out that and said, this is the thing we want to put out as far as... That is the most salacious.
It is. That'll sell a paper.
That'll sell a paper, even though obviously that's kind of unfair to her at this point. She's trying to just live a life and fuck with her horses and shit. Milk a kid now and then. So, I mean, what the fuck, man? I'm just trying to milk a kid now and then. Is that a problem?
This is also in the 70s when the media had a little bit of credibility, too. So they wouldn't want to do some shit like that to somebody in a small town. But in a small town, and I wasn't even born yet.
Small town woman with horses, it disappears, but she has a secret past of big city prostitution and drug doing, and that's a story. You know what I mean?
Sure,
like that's that's something back then. Make a TV movie out of that shit in the 70s.
Buying.
So her mother, on the other hand, here, and her mother and father are divorced at this point. She said that Lori was very happy with her life. She says, quote, she loved the country and her horses and all that. I think something happened up there. Okay. She said that when she was single back in the day, Lori, that she only called her when she needed money, which is what the sister said as well, because she had a lot of things going on. She said, quote, but I knew she would come home eventually. She loved Vermont. So, yeah, she said she'd come back. So now her father there, Willard, he said that...
Another Will?
They're all Wills and William and Witchell and Wilchel. Willard and Willie. And now he said that his daughter was content with her life there as well. Mm-hmm. He said, quote, she was happy as a lark up there. He said that he drove up to his daughter's home on the night of the 4th after getting a phone call from Ricky. And he said, too, that he thinks she must have been carried out of the trailer. That's the only explanation, but the cops disagree. Now, a few days after the whole thing goes down and she's missing. So a few days later, she's still missing. And her husband here, Ricky, he keeps saying that, he keeps telling the newspaper repeatedly every time that he can get them to talk to him that she was carried out of there. That's why the bloodhounds can't track her. Then people... Okay, this is the thing. People talk. Yeah. And in a small town, people talk a lot. When someone's out there saying this constantly, it makes people suspicious of them.
Right.
Saying that she must have been carried out. She must have been carried out. They're like, I'm protesting a little too much here. Like, I don't know. Like,
you weren't there either, man.
Yeah, hopefully.
Right.
So yeah, but he's looking for his wife, on the surface and everything like that. So yeah, he says she spent hours with the horses. He doesn't understand it. There is one person who has a theory, though, here. One person outside the family who's a friend of the family. She's just an acquaintance of the mother. Yeah. She doesn't know much about much about Lori's life or anything like that. But this woman, Mrs. Penny Holcomb, who sounds like a party animal here.
Yeah, she does.
She said that she had a vision.
Oh, boy.
She said she's not a psychic.
Yeah.
She's not like one of these, people who are like volunteering.
Lady.
She said she wasn't sleeping.
She was wide awake.
She said she laid down and a vision came to her of what happened to Lori. Okay. Right. A psychic vision that she's never had before in her life. She said the vision was someone entering the trailer the day of the disappearance. She says, quote, he was a tall guy, husky, with light hair that he combed straight back. He carried her out of the trailer in his arms, her head dangling. There wasn't any struggle. He just put something over her mouth or knocked her out. And then she says, people think I'm crazy, but that's what I saw. That's her theory.
Okay.
Husky guy, slick back hair.
Yeah.
There you go.
And we've got to go on that. We got to put that on the news.
Who said that? Mrs. Penny. A newspaper said that. Yeah, because
they wrote that.
This is in a fucking newspaper. Wow. right under the sister and they go the mother, the sister, the father, the husband, and then this broad. That's the Penny Holcomb. That's the fucking.
Who doesn't know shit about her?
I don't know shit about it, but she talked to the paper, and a psychic vision's a pretty interesting story too. And that sounds downright. That sounds seedy right there. Tall, husky guy with his hair slicked back, slinging her over his shoulder and carrying her out, and knocking her out and carrying her. But if he knocked her out, the theory with this, though, if he knocked her out, a knockout blow a lot of times will cause some kind of bleeding, which would have left a trail somewhere out. So that's a tough theory there. I don't buy a knockout blow just for that reason.
Yeah.
But cover her mouth, that's a different story. So, like I said, all the friends are going all around the woods and the meadows looking for Lori. Everything's going crazy. November 21st rolls around. She's been missing for, a long time. 17 days now, which is getting to be, that's getting to be, okay.
She should require money by now.
Something's, this is bad stuff. Either she is dead or very much in trouble at this point. So Ricky keeps talking to the newspapers and the cops, and he says his frustration is growing huge. He's critical of the state police investigation. He says, quote, if she was somebody important, they'd have all kinds of people working on this. He said, but because she's nobody and we're fucking trailer trash, basically, they just go, well, she must have ran away and fucking we don't care and haven't, because the police stopped investigating after the bloodhounds. They didn't care anymore, basically. Like, it'll pick back up a little bit, as we'll see, but as of right now, they're like, missing person. We don't know. Moving on to other shit.
Got any new information for us? Because all that we have says no.
Yeah, he's just literally trying to talked in the paper to get people to shame the police and people into looking for her. He says he called Franklin County State's Attorney Ronald Kilburn and Attorney General Jerome Diamond to try to get more action. He said, quote, I'm going to the governor next. Wow. So he's like, I have no power, I have nothing, but I'm going to try. He says that he spent nearly every day since our Kitchell, that's the police officer, said he spent every day since he was called to the case searching for Lori and searching for clues. He says, but, nothing came up. He said, quote, I can appreciate how he feels. He's very outspoken, and I know he feels we aren't doing enough. Yeah. In other words, but he can go fuck himself because we think we're fine.
We've done all we can.
Yeah, I can appreciate how he feels. I don't know what that. Even if he genuinely means that, it's a bad choice of words. It sounds
dismissive.
It sounds phony as fuck. Well, I appreciate how he feels. But I know he's very outspoken and he feels like we aren't doing enough. But I don't know.
It's very. I'm sorry you feel that way.
I got a badge and he doesn't, so I guess that's how we're doing it.
That's a good point.
That's pretty much how he's doing it, I think. Which isn't really a great...
I've got fingerprint dust.
What fucking else do you have to do up there?
I don't know,
what else is going on up there that you don't have time to look? Just humor the guy. I guarantee you have an extra officer up there who's just sitting around with a pint of Ben & Jerry's in his fucking hand. Send him out looking through the woods. I don't know. Send him out with a dog just walking around. Dogs need to walk anyway. Drive over to somewhere by their fucking trailer and walk the goddamn thing around. I don't know.
Is that bloodhound in its kennel? Then get it the fuck out.
Yeah, what are we doing with it? They love to run around, these fucking dogs.
It's their favorite.
Shit. So, another police officer said several investigators from the Bureau of Criminal Investigation of the state of Vermont are working on the case as well. But he also said that this is the state guy. He even said that he has to agree with Kitchell that Lori has got to be treated as a missing person because that's what the evidence points to. So it's like, I'd love to help, but I don't know. We have no evidence, so why open a case that we can't solve is basically what they're doing.
I get it, but I don't get it.
That's what, it's not great.
Do not want to go missing in fucking Vermont.
Yeah. So, and Ricky's very upset. He said, we planned our lives. We were planning them. He's planning everything we were going to do. Right. He said, we moved here. We were going to buy that plot of land. We saved up. We bought it. Our next step was having kids.
Right.
He said, quote, we wanted to wait and have kids. We wanted to wait and have everything before we had the kids. Which is responsible and smart. He said, but, quote, I'm spending the last little money I have left to try to find her. That's what he's doing. He's going around. He's not working. He's just fucking walking around the woods all day, yelling Lori, which is crazy. December 2nd, 1976.
Oh, my God.
Almost a month. Mm-hmm. Finally here, from all of this pressure and talking to the newspapers, and because the newspapers are now calling the police every day. Every time Ricky calls them and says something, they call the cops for a response.
Right.
So now it's every day they're getting calls from newspapers. Small town police departments are not used to that shit, and they do not like it. So eventually they go, fuck it, we're going to have an inquest.
Mm-hmm.
Not an this is what I don't get, okay?
We're going to have people look over what we did?
An inquest is they're going to have a hearing.
Right.
To go over all the evidence we have and bring everybody in. Yeah,
right.
This is what you should be doing when you're building a case. This is called building a case. What the fuck are they doing up there?
Wow.
So they have an inquest here. It's held in St. Albans. It's a 3-day long inquest. They had a bunch of witnesses and everything like that come forward. They said that they were checking all leads and questioning all witnesses, and they said it's not a closed file by any means. Basically, anybody that knew Lori is called into this and questioned in front of people. It's a whole like a hearing. So all the neighbors, all the friends.
It's a lot of time. They could have been just out there looking.
Psychic lady, horse people, you name it. Kids, she's milked everybody. So January 1977 comes around. It's now been 2 months. Ricky decides to move to Florida.
Really?
Yeah, he just leaves.
He's done with this whole fucking state.
Takes off, moves down to Florida. Now this looks like one of two things.
Yeah.
This looks like one, I'm running away, or two, this is fucking too much for me, and I'm in this trailer, and I look at that tray every day, and the couch, and the tea stain, and I'm
don't
fucking
even drink Lipton anymore.
To Barnes with the horses, and I can't do this anymore. I got to get away from the situation. So everything Ricky says and does can be taken both ways, which is tough. So January 1977, he sells the trailer and the horse barn and everything and moved to Florida, which is, that's tough. His father-in-law, old Willard there, he said, quote, he couldn't stand being there with her gone. He said he went to Florida to look for an acquaintance who he went to Florida too, is what he told his father-in-law, to look for an acquaintance who he thinks might know something about what happened to Lori.
So he's investigating.
He's literally doing his own investigation. Wow. So he moves down to Florida because that's where the investigation has moved, basically. So that's where he goes. Fuck, man. I mean, because they can't get they did an inquest, and they're like, well, I mean, we did a whole inquest and everything, and then after that, I guess we wash our hands till somebody comes in or walks in the front door and says, I took her and killed her. How you doing? Frank, nice to meet you. Willie, nice to meet you. So, he says that he thinks that he's down there, or he knows he's down there, and the father-in-law also says that he probably will find work while he's down there. Says he's a carpenter by trade, so he can pretty much work anywhere, which is helpful for Ricky when he needs to fucking move places.
Florida's got a lot of building to do also.
Especially in the 70s. It was exploding with... Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmie had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. Yeah. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's SONOBELLO.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Building. So, the police say they still don't know what's going on. 1977 creeps on even further. Yeah. June comes around.
Oh, no.
June 1977. Still no trace of Lori. Nothing. Not a word, not a trace, not a damn thing. The police say they're mystified.
Yeah.
Police Captain William Kitchell said, quote, our corporal said, the case is pretty much at a standstill. She's still listed as a missing person and there's nothing new. So the cops still are just saying it's a missing person. Ricky has spent every last dime trying to find his wife, literally investigating all the way down going 1,500 miles to go investigate this fucking shit.
God damn it.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
So August 5th, 1977 comes around. That's a long time.
It is.
That is a long fucking time. At that day, there are 2 Connecticut residents who are down at the Lamoille River. Lamoille, I don't know how you say that. Lamoille.
Lamoille.
Lamoille, I mean, I don't know if there's a French there but up there, if they're just like Lamoille. So either way, there's Lamioli, god damn it. So they're people up there, 2 Connecticut residents launching a canoe into the river to do some fishing. It's about 50 yards off Vermont Highway 108 in Jeffersonville here. And it's about 20 miles away from the trailer, the Gagno trailer. So what they find, though, once they push off in the water and fishing, is they find they run into something with concrete blocks and ropes and tarp and all this shit, like a big block of something.
With their boat?
With one of their oars, they find this. It's off on the side of the thing, so on the side of the shore there on the bank. So they call police, obviously, and say, we don't know what this is. And what they end up finding is it is a body, nude, decomposed female body, hands and feet bound.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, hands and feet bound and with rope, weighted down with concrete blocks, and wrapped in a rubberized tarp. Wow. As well, with rope around that, weighted down with blocks and put in the river.
Somebody wanted that gone.
Very much. I never fucking found.
Right.
This is like mob guys would do less than this to get rid of a body.
And it's still there.
Badly decomposed. Now, they don't know. There's 2 missing women in this area. They don't know who it is.
Really?
Yeah, the body's so badly decomposed they can't tell.
Okay.
So they don't know. One of the women that is missing is a Iris Brown, who was 29 years old as well, which is a problem. They're both the same age, and she disappeared in March of 1976. So right before that, she had been visiting, she left to visit her boyfriend in Danbury, Connecticut. She left her Burlington apartment to do that, and no one has ever seen her since.
Shout out to the mayor of Danbury.
Yeah, hey, that's right, Danbury. She never made it there, so we don't blame you. Mayor Danbury likes her show, and we like him too.
He's awesome.
So, yeah, he's good shit. So, no one has heard from her since. So, police think maybe Lori, maybe Iris Brown. They're missing almost the same amount of time. They're the same age, around the same size.
Right.
They don't know. Finally, after a search of dental records, they do determine it is Lori in there. It's not Iris Brown. Now, one of the strangest things about this whole thing, and there's a lot, is that the obituary for this. Now, I don't know how you'd put this in the obituary. Because obviously this is
family writes it, don't they? Write it
yeah. This is fucking heavy right here, though. I mean, the whole thing. Obviously, let's talk about it. Also, they believe once they find, we'll get into the forensics first. Now, once they get her into an autopsy, they determine that it's probably strangulation. The hyoid bone is broken and all that sort of thing. So that's a big time sign of manual strangulation. And they also believe there's been definitely sexual assault as well. So, this is what happened here is a terrible way for anybody to end, basically. It's fucking awful. Theory is that she was carried out of her trailer and taken out to someplace horrible. And we don't know where the killing took place. It could be anywhere. Right. Could be somewhere in the woods that we'll never find. Could be some house somewhere. No fucking clue.
Right.
So she just is, poof. Gone. So it's pretty terrible what happened to her, man. That's brutal, man.
It really is.
That's fucking
a terrible way to go.
Yeah, so they think they carried her up, but they're still struggling with why is there no struggle in the trailer? If someone kidnaps you physically, someone comes into your fucking living room while you're having a cup of tea and tries to physically drag you out, there's going to be a struggle. Something's going to happen. You're going to grab the wall, you're going to knock things over, grab a fucking clock on the wall on the way out, trying to hit somebody. I mean, you're going to fight.
Depending, you know what I mean?
Depending on if you knew the person,
right?
If you there's a lot of different factors.
Impending doom based on whatever they're carrying or holding.
Gunpoint is a thing that people, they stopped. You never know.
Right.
So her obituary, it is listed that she, quote, died unexpectedly early last November.
Yeesh. I mean, I can
see
a weird
way. It's unexpected, all right, but what a weird fucking way to put it.
I can see I mean, you don't even put that. Just don't put anything. Obviously, they're dead. It's a fucking obituary.
Yeah.
You don't usually get those for the living.
No, I did find a very angry letter to the editor about
the obituary,
and about her, the articles about her, saying that they were very sexist because they said that she was described as this is 1979, by the way, a 29-year-old brunette. In the first paragraph, and pretty somewhere else. I will say every single article about her, they say attractive, pretty, attractive, pretty, attractive, pretty, attractive, pretty. Yes. I don't know if that's chauvinistic or if that's more trying to get people more interested in it because you're more interested in a young, attractive, pretty woman that goes missing. It's a brain thing. It's the same reason why when Jean Bonnet goes missing, they go crazy because people go, oh my God.
She was so pretty. She was so much going for her.
So, I mean, that's half chauvinistic and half capitalistic, I think.
There's also a point of I mean, nobody.
It doesn't need to be said, obviously, but.
I mean, it's a fact.
When you say brunette, you're describing a person that has brown hair. Yeah. So I mean, it does. I
can see it as a fact and being in the story, but I can also see it as the side of we want you to pay attention to this. And if I say homely brunette, you're turning the page.
That's what I think. I think it's half chauvinistic and half capitalistic. I think half of it is it's a more interesting story because that's the way human nature works.
But it's not sexist because a lot of times in articles they'll say handsome, whatever.
They're trying to build people. They're trying to build the dead person up always.
They say handsome.
It's more of a tragedy. If they say wretched street urchin fucking drops dead, people go, well, whatever, and they clean. But if they say, beloved family man who's fallen on hard times, that sounds better. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you would read that. Oh, what happened to him? Oh, did his kids help him? No,
you know how many times I heard handsome about fucking Epstein? For Christ's sake, it's in every article about that filth
fuck that guy,
And they call him handsome, James.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I don't want to be handsome. I never want to be it. I'm never working on it, never working for it. If that guy is handsome, fuck that. That's disgusting.
Well, she goes on to say that this is a real think piece here. Mm-hmm. They said the phrase pretty implies that her main function was to please others by being attractive and that she was a piece of valuable property that her husband unjustly and unfortunately lost. This is shown by the fact that her husband is mentioned both times in the phrases as living with her and being married to her. Yes, because they're trying to connect it to a living victim. This isn't
how unmarried are you, lady?
Yeah, I mean,
how single and desperate of a person does this?
The closing is, this goes against the fact that women are humans, not property or functioning to please others. This is gross chauvinism that the free press should not engage in. Okay, there are points in there that are good, but they don't relate here. Yeah. Because you're saying your complaint should be more about journalists trying to make a case more interesting by making it salacious rather than show, because they care way more about that shit. Yeah. If they could sell more papers, whether it was 1979 or now or whenever, they could sell more papers by saying fucking whore beheaded, they would fucking do it. If they could make it the most chauvinistic or the least chauvinistic, whatever the fuck it would be that would sell more, that's what they would write it like. So that's all it is at that point.
But don't read it.
It comes out like that, and obviously that's not the only. The fact to say that the only reason anyone cares is because she's property of her husband, that's come on, she's
crazy.
Yeah, we care because she's a dead human being that's fucking gone. That's why we care.
I mean, I grew up in the 80s, and my family is white trash as it gets, and there's nobody in my family that believes that they owned their fucking wife.
That's what I mean. It's like
they're white trash chauvinistic shitbags, and nobody believes that.
I'm
sure there's people that do.
I was going to say we should put this with taint this with the fact that this was in the late 70s, and for a long time that was kind of the prevailing wisdom. So that might be a lot of what this is going off of as well, is kind of fighting that prevailing shit that we don't have now, so we can't.
It still feels like that person that wrote that is dealing with an internal battle, and it has nothing to do with the way this was written.
Possibly, yeah. So after the body's found, police have zero leads still. Nothing. They still, that doesn't help any, unless somebody wrote fucking property of fucking Bill Willie on their goddamn tarp. I don't know how they're gonna.
That's fucked too, because all he wanted was some closure. The husband, and he's got it now in the form of like,
and a big opening too.
Right. There's a body. You know that you're not looking.
You know
for
she didn't
run
away and fucking.
The police know
wrap
that
herself
also,
in a tarp and jump in the river.
But they're still at a dead end.
Yeah,
we've got the body now.
They re-interview everybody they've ever talked to, everybody that's ever known her, all of the neighbors from all the trailers far and wide, all the horse people, everything like that. The investigation is led by police detective Henry Red Vaudier.
Oh boy.
His name is Hank and Red at the same time. He is both Hank and Red.
Two nicknames.
How much of like a fucking old man can you be when you're Hank and Red?
How awesome are those options for the patch for your mechanic outfit?
Oh, yeah.
You could either put Red or Hank. And
Hank sounds
cool.
tough.
It does.
Hank is cool, man. Hank is like I don't know, it's a big tough guy.
Yeah.
Hank Aaron hitting homers and shit. You know what I mean? That's Hank.
I knew a guy named Henry who went by Henry and hated Hank only because his last name was Tank, the poor fuck.
Oh, that's bad. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all.
Isn't that brutal?
So
he had the coolest name for the coolest nickname.
And it's bad.
Can't even use it.
Nope, done. So he is, this is the guy who's going to begin this investigation. This investigation, though, is going to go on for quite some time. This investigation will not be over until late 1989. This man will investigate this all through the 80s, from 1978 when the body's found, 1977, all the way through the 80s.
Wow.
He will investigate this fucking case with literally nothing.
Ouch.
Nothing to go on. They had a couple of things that were circumstantial, but they nothing they could ever charge anybody with or anything like that. And they had a couple different people they were looking at. It just kind of fell apart. Damn. And it especially fell apart because one of the main people they were looking at ended up moving away, and there wasn't enough evidence to really pursue the person. So it was like, I guess who knows?
Let him go.
I guess shoulder shrug that shit. So but what ends up happening is early 1990. A man who is the son of somebody who knew the Gagnos here, and the son also knew them from the neighborhood. He comes forward. His name is Wayne DeLiesel Jr.
DeLiesel.
Wayne DeLiesel Jr. comes forward. He was 11 years old in 1976. November 4th was the day before his 12th birthday.
Remembers it well.
So he said he remembers it super well, and he comes forward with evidence at this point implicating his father in the Lori Gagno murder. They were neighbors of the Gagnos in a trailer. Okay. Now this is fucking interesting. He gives a bunch of evidence. So Vermont police get a warrant and end up finding this DeLiesel Sr. Down in Florida, in Volusia County, Florida. They find him all the way down there. So they follow him around, and when he drops his 9-year-old daughter off at school, they arrest him.
Okay.
They take him in. He is charged March 7th, 1990 with first-degree murder.
Oh, my God.
So that is 14 fucking years nearly.
And the son ratted him out.
The police said when they got him down and sat him down, and I'll tell you what he said, too, when they arrested him, which is pretty interesting. But when they sat him down, he said, quote, the police said, quote, we talked for over 5 hours. DeLiesel is still in the denial stage. Which, I mean, whatever. They said that DeLiesel was shocked and surprised at his arrest there. And he said, we talked about the case for over 5 hours with the whole thing. When they arrested him, he said, quote, oh, no, that one?
What?
That's what he said. That was his exact quote when they said, you're under arrest for the murder of Lori Gagno. He went, Oh, that one?
Wow.
That's what he said. We'll find out what's going on, who this guy is here.
He knows Iris so well.
What was the holdup here?
Yeah.
What's the fucking holdup? Well, the investigation was plagued by false information given by DeLiesel's mother. That gave him an alibi back in the day.
So his mom ruined the case.
According to an affidavit, Irene DeLiesel testified in the inquest, because that was a subject in the inquest, that she picked her son up for work at about 7:30 a.m., brought him to work, and then brought him home at about 4 p.m. And she was driving him around, and she was questioned by Hank Red Vaudier there, and she said that she, later on, she said, why the fuck did you say that? And she said that she blames her earlier testimony on her medication. Must have mixed up my days on the medication. Meanwhile, because DeLiesel worked for his parents. So basically, they were his whole alibi. He was at work all day.
Wowza.
All day, don't know what you're talking about, from 7:30 a.m. on. Now, meanwhile, that's still 5:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Even if what she said is true, that's still 2 hours to do something. So 1990 comes around. Let's find out a little bit about old Wayne Earl DeLiesel.
Yeah.
If your middle name is Earl, I swear to God you've killed somebody. It's just a fucking fact.
We better start looking at his boy.
So, we'll get to his boy. Don't worry. Well, his boy is a whole other can of worms, man. Okay, so Wayne Earl Sonny, he goes by, is his nickname. Sonny DeLiesel here, but we'll call him Wayne because he doesn't like it. So, and fuck this guy.
Yeah.
So he was arrested for disturbing the peace in 1961, arrested for a simple assault in 1974, disorderly conduct in both 1969 and 1973. So kind of just some dust-ups.
General fuckery.
Sounds like a guy out drinking in bars and getting in fights, right? But it gets worse after that. Now, his first wife that they interviewed said that he threatened to kill her and tried to strangle her multiple times during their 10-year marriage. Investigators in Florida said that she described him as a truck driver and a landscaper, and they found out, once they get him in here, that he has been charged in, ready for this, Jimmy? In Florida since 1978, he's been charged in 7 rapes.
Wow.
7 fucking rapes, but never convicted.
Still on the street.
All of them were dropped due to lack of evidence from witnesses not wanting to testify.
Because they're fucking scared of him.
And one of them, he was acquitted in a jury trial because of impeaching a witness, basically saying that she was basically, he would rape drug addicts and prostitutes. That's who he would rape. And then when they would say that, he would go, nope, she stole my money. That's what he would say. She's a crook. She stole my money. And he would get off on that shit.
Wow.
So that's how he got acquitted. He convinced a jury that a rape victim actually robbed him and he was the victim. That's how it happened. And we'll talk about exactly what that rape was because it was fucking horrendous.
Where there's smoke, there's fire, man. And that,
you think?
7?
7?
Jesus, how many times did he do it and they didn't say shit?
That's what I'm saying. And yeah, a lot of these women in these cases wouldn't testify against him either because they were afraid because he got off before.
Right.
They said, if he gets off again, he's going to fucking hunt me down and kill me. This guy's scary. And the cops went, I don't know.
There's no law.
So after Lori disappeared, like 2 weeks after she disappeared, he just took off for Alaska.
Really?
He takes off for Alaska, told his wife that he was going to work on the pipeline, and fucking took off 2 weeks after Lori disappeared. He was gone for nearly a year in Alaska. Then he ended up coming back east and was in Massachusetts for a couple months and then ended up down in Florida where he lived since 1978. Like the same little area almost too. His first wife, like I said, they talked all about him brutalizing her and threatening to kill her and trying to strangle her all the time for 10 years. Well, there's a lot of other women. One woman here in particular happened in 1979. She went to police. Was told the police that she was kidnapped by him, by DeLiesel, suspended from a truck hoist.
Wow.
Yeah. That's some fucking Eastern Bloc torture shit.
Yeah.
That was like Lethal Weapon 1. They would hold somebody up by a truck. That's
crazy.
That's what they do in an action movie.
Right.
That's crazy. We're going to put a car battery on your nutsack.
Right.
Yeah.
Put a bunch of ropes around you and then put a hook on behind it.
That's what it is. It's a truck hoist. Suspended her from a truck hoist. Oh my God. Beat her with fists, a leather belt, and various tools from around, and then sodomized her with truck tools.
Good Lord.
That's what happened to this poor fucking woman. Wow. Many other women, up to 7 was the charges, but there was others that came forward. Sure. We're talking who knows how many women here.
The last 20 years.
Yeah, for 20 years. Others tell of rapes and beatings along secluded country roads where he would pick up these women or kidnap these women, take them out in the middle of nowhere, and beat them and rape them and leave them there.
Oh, my God.
This is a horrible person here. Charges were brought against him in May 1980, which is 1 month after he was acquitted, he was acquitted of kidnapping a female hitchhiker. So he's acquitted, and then he gets more charges brought up against him. The hitchhiker had testified against him that she accepted a ride, but he took her to another destination where he tried to rape her, and they struggled before she escaped. And he said, quote, "I never touched her, but she conned me out of my money," and he was acquitted. Wow. That's the trial that was acquitted. Everybody else, the charges were dropped before it ever came to trial.
Our system is broken.
I would fucking say so. So Daytona Beach Police Chief Paul Crow says once he finally got to arrest DeLiesel, he said, quote, "I've wanted to get Wayne DeLiesel almost from the first day I ran into him." Like, he's one of these guys you could just tell there's something going on here.
Is it illegal just to surveil somebody like that? Like, if you have a feeling?
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah, you have to have some. You can't just follow people around.
But I mean,
you can to take a look, but if it's anything more than like just taking a look, that's harassment. You can't just. Yeah, you can't.
I feel like that should be illegal.
Yeah, no, which definitely should not be legal. The last thing we'd have is, because imagine what fucking cops would do with that. Trail people they don't like, that have opinions they don't like, that protest them and shit like that. So fuck them. They can't fucking trail anybody. Stay home.
Just for rape. Like, if you got a feeling that they rape, let's follow that guy.
They're like a serial rapist?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's follow that guy.
Serial rape clause?
I'm in.
All right. I'm
fine
okay with that. I'm okay with that.
And if you think I rape constantly, follow me. You'll never see me
You'll see me never rape anyone, and it's
then
fine.
You'll quit.
Yeah,
and then you have to.
But that's also kind of if you're not doing anything, but what if you...
This guy, it feels like you would have stumbled.
You would have stumbled, yeah. You would have. You just had to follow him for a couple of days, it sounds like.
God.
So, he said that he has... very fucking much. He's very excited about arresting this guy. He says that this is Crow again here. He says that they've always come up empty-handed against him. These 6 times prosecutors opened up files and tried to go on. He went free without facing a trial. He was arrested 18 days ago at this point when they're talking to this guy, and they said that this is the first murder he's being blamed on. We'll talk about why, by the way, here. How did they find, besides the son, just saying it?
Yeah.
Well, what did they find? Also, the son brought forward nude pictures
of
Laurie Gagnon that his father had in his possession.
What a piece of shit.
Yeah, nude pictures of him.
Wait. He took pictures, stowed them in the house, and then left? Are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah. Well, let's go back to 1976, Jimmy. So
right.
I literally knew you'd say that, so I have back to 1976 right here, because we're going back to explain it. Trust me here. So, this is where Wayne, he lived with his wife and children. He had horses, he worked for his parents who owned a farm equipment store, and he was having an affair with Laurie.
Oh.
Unbeknownst to anybody except for the kids at the time sort of knew something was going on, because they would see.
Trusted him.
But his wife didn't know about it. Ricky had no fucking clue whatsoever about it. But it was an ongoing affair that was definitely going on here. That's not to besmirch her at all, but that's what was going on here. They would often ride horses together, DeLiesel and Laurie, because they were both horse people.
Right.
They'd ride their horses together, and then they went farther than that. So they said the Hank Red Vaudier there, he said he knew of DeLiesel back then, and he said that he knew that he had a violent history and all that, and he said that in his mind, DeLiesel was always kind of the prime suspect, but there was just never any evidence. It was just, what are you going to do? Say, I really don't like the looks of this guy,
right.
And there's nothing.
Is that why you went to Florida, was to follow up on DeLiesel?
Possibly, yeah. Wow. There was a couple people down there, I guess, here. So he said that his suspicions deepened when DeLiesel vanished 3 weeks after the disappearance, which makes sense. But then Ricky took off 2 months later also, so he couldn't really say that. So new evidence, let's see here. Nude photos. Among his accusers here is his eldest son, like we said. said DeLiesel's children had told police the day of the disappearance that their father and Lori were standing together as the children left on the school bus, standing outside because they were next door neighbors. Right. So the children had said that, but that was all the evidence they had, as they were seen by kids in a school bus. So what? Nude photos and they appeared to be banging. Who gives a shit? That's not evidence of murder.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. You could take nude photos of someone that you're banging. That doesn't mean you killed them.
I suppose.
I mean, well, shit. There's probably been a lot of people w'ho've been killed that have fucked someone and taken nude pictures with them, and the other person didn't kill them.
And today, much more.
That's not evidence.
No.
But Hank Red Vaudier says that the rope that bound the body came from DeLiesel's wash line.
How does he know that?
They find, because they matched them up.
Oh, it doesn't say DeLiesel on it?
Well, here's one that's a little more. That's shaky, but then the black paint on the cinder blocks was traced to a store near DeLiesel's home, and the canvas, the tarp, it's a rubberized tarp that he used for business, that he used specifically,
those are rare.
Was identified by a DeLiesel family member as belonging to Wayne as well. And also, they matched the cinder blocks to the cinder blocks that are the foundation of his fucking trailer.
Get out of here.
That's where the cinder blocks came from.
Wow.
Those are the same cinder blocks. There was two missing, too.
His trailer's leaning and everything.
Yeah, he just took, I don't need these two.
Right.
I'll just throw them over there.
Wow.
So that's how that's evidence.
That's
enough evidence. It's not perfect evidence. There's no DNA.
Right.
But when you mix everything else up in the bag, and then some more stuff here, they basically, Hank Red thought he had enough to charge him, possibly, but there's all circumstantial, and the state attorney was like, there's no case there. I'm not bringing this to court and having this guy get acquitted, then we're fucked.
Right.
So the son's info, though, he says that Lori approached the house. Basically, Lori had been over that morning, and they had argued, he said, out in front of the house. Lori had left. Okay. Then Lori came back, and he said that Lori approached the house a second time, and, quote, his father went outside with Lori and was screaming on the way out. He told Lori that if she ever came back there, that he was going to kill her. Oh, boy. The boy said that his younger brother, they said that they used to have to clean the barn, but instead that morning their father told them just to head right to school and not go in the barn there. And then the other thing is Wayne Jr., the same one that came forward here, he says, like I said, it's the day before his 12th birthday, so he remembers it very vividly. Yeah. And he says he remembers, you're going to shit right here, Jimmie. He remembers his father breaking with his custom routine of, quote, slicking back his hair with a half jar of Vaseline.
Get out of my life.
He's a big, husky, light-haired guy who slicks it back.
How the fuck did she know that?
Don't know, but she was fucking right. She fucking nailed it.
And he used Vaseline?
Just like he said, as like I don't know if he was joking around.
Some shellac.
Gloop, but that's exactly, she said, it was very specific about slicked back with stuff hair. That's what he said.
I mean, apart from the carrying her out of the house part.
That, yeah.
She got the description, and that's bananas.
That's fucking, when I read that, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And those weren't the same. These are from 15 years difference in the papers. Nope, they didn't put that together.
That's wild.
That lady, she was probably the only one who remembered that. You know what I mean? Otherwise, we find it in a fucking.
She probably read it and was like, somebody, give me a fucking paper.
Right?
I gotta prove this.
Holy shit.
I said it.
It's called Dionne Warwick. I'm gonna get a job.
Miss Cleo's bullshit.
This is that time.
Right?
This is Dionne Warwick's time.
This is before Miss Cleo.
Yeah.
Before.
This is the 90s. Yeah. This is Dionne Warwick going on there, and fucking, that was a shame to see her doing that.
It's too
bad.
Like,
oh, she sang Walk On By. You know what I mean? It's fucking beautiful.
Now she's
slinging this shit. I'm going to walk on by, Dionne. I'm going to walk on by.
I'm going to take your advice.
That's all I have left, so. Oh, boy. Okay, so he says that he broke his routine, the father did, of slicking his hair back. He also said that his father rushed out to the trailer next door, only to return 15 minutes later, trailer next door is where Lori was, and tell Wayne and his younger brother, Adam, to, quote, keep their mouths shut about anything they had seen.
Wow.
That's what he said. His son also tells police that his grandparents paid off the Florida victims to not testify against him. That's why apparently his parents have money.
Okay.
Wayne's parents. They own a couple of businesses and shit. The son says that down south, all those cases that were dropped because the witnesses wouldn't testify, they wouldn't testify because the parents were paying them off.
Yeah.
These women were mostly hitchhikers and drug addicts and shit, and they were giving him a couple grand, and they decided, I don't need to testify. That's what the kid's saying. It definitely happened. So the police said they're going to investigate that.
I'll bet that kid has been living his life and those words echoing in his head for the last 20 years.
It's fucking, yeah.
Hating it.
Well, possibly. Well, then his brother has another thing to say about it.
Yeah.
So it just gets worse and worse.
Oh, boy.
So, where the fuck was he during this whole time? After, like I said, he went to Alaska, did all of that shit. DeLiesel went down to the Daytona Beach area in 1977, right away after Massachusetts. And when he was down there, Hank Red actually flew down and interviewed him because he said he wanted to talk to him one more time, but he had no new information, and the state's attorney said, well, that doesn't help any. So basically they said that the detectives routinely reviewed the case file over the years, but there was just nothing going on. Yeah. But basically DeLiesel, while he's down there, he worked with an excavating company and later opened his own nursery and lawn service. So this guy would come in and plant plants in your fucking bed for you. He's digging.
Oh, boy.
Oh, God.
And he's down here in Daytona at this time. He visits prostitutes. He is very lucky he did not run across Aileen Wuornos.
Fuck yeah. Well,
holy shit.
That would have turned into that would have been quite the battle.
She would have been a hero.
That would have been quite the fucking battle. Well, actually, she was armed, so you know what?
That's a great point.
He would have went for a strangle, and she would have said, I got one up on you, Chief. Pardon me, young man.
Hands off me.
Yeah, I will. Oh, boy. So he is down there. He was arrested, like we said, all sorts of times. September 1978 was the first time he was arrested in Florida. And basically, that was the thing. They said that he would pick them up. The women all said they'd pick them up, take them to a secluded area, and force them to have sex under threat of violence. Yeah. Rape them. Right. Take them to a secluded area and rape them.
Why do they say it like that?
I don't know why they would say it like that.
Why don't you just say rape?
Each time, police took statements from this is directly from a newspaper who charged that DeLiesel picked them up, taking them to a secluded areas, and under threat of violence forced them to have sex. Just say raped.
That's much less keystrokes.
And it's also this sounds less bad than that.
You're washing what is the worst thing you can do to a person.
It sounds like under threat of violence they volunteered to have sex but that's not what happened. That's no.
What they're
all rape.
They're just in survival
101.5 all rape all the time.
They're just submitting to rape to save their own lives and fight or flight. No, this is being fucking
it's horrible.
Raped.
Good God.
Say it.
So, fuck, man. No shit. Just print it, goddammit. So they said that this case posed problems for the prosecutor, though, who says all these cases that they had in Florida were tough. This is him talking. Nixon, who is the prosecutor, said, quote, that they were prostitutes or transient street people, women who had no visible means of support and sometimes were involved in drugs, not the type of person who makes a great witness.
Jesus.
Good God, man.
Are you doing your best to try to keep them from ever reporting fucking being raped? Because
that's what I mean. That's exactly what they're saying. That's a wink of don't bother. Don't bother reporting it.
Yeah.
You know?
Keep those mouths shut, ladies.
Fuck, man.
Those lips wrapped around a dick.
And and even the prosecutor says that maybe some of those cases were not as thoroughly investigated as they could have been, because the police thought it was all bullshit, basically, because they thought these women were fucking liars or trash, and they didn't care. So he said, as a prosecutor, you would end up dependent on solely the testimony of the victim, who, whether you want to believe them and do believe them or not, in court, when brought under cross-examination, does not look great to a jury. Yeah. You know, how many times were you arrested for prostitution? Mm-hmm. That shouldn't matter, but right away, the jury goes, and you get one person to go, the case is over with.
That's fucked up.
It's fucked up.
If a girl is willing to disclose how many times she's been arrested for prostitution, any other word that comes out of her mouth, I believe.
Probably true.
She's going to be honest.
I fucking agree with you. Yeah. So, he says, quote, I think prosecutors at the time had been sensitized to the nature of sex crimes as violent crimes, but that had not filtered down to the cop on the beat yet. Yeah. So, they didn't have that yet. They were just like, he's fucking raping hookers. Who cares?
Oh, boy.
Jesus, that's disturbing. So, as all this went, often the cases would crumble against him. One victim just disappeared and couldn't be found. Another refused to travel back into state to testify. The poor woman who was hung from a fucking truck hoist and everything, beaten and sodomized there. She said he said that he took photos of this victim, the Crow guy. She was badly bruised, and they found blood on DeLiesel's seatbelt from her and pieced together physical evidence from this to actually present a non-circumstantial case. Yeah. However, it needed the cooperation of the victim, and as trial approached, she said she didn't want to, and then went into a drug treatment program, so she couldn't be subpoenaed about it either.
Wow.
So she didn't want any part of it. And
that's how horrifying he is.
That's what I mean. You know what I mean? Or if he's paying her off, too. Who knows? And Crow says, quote, obviously she would lack credibility.
Would she?
So the charges were dropped.
Wow.
So when he was arrested for the murder of Lori, he literally said, oh, no, not that one. That was his quote to the cops, which if I'm a cop, I'm going to get goosebumps when someone says that. That one.
What are you talking about, sir?
Which one? Well, he was remarried.
Yeah.
He had no problem finding women. He was married always, had 5 girlfriends. This guy was always fucking women everywhere. He'd been married 3 times in all. He has 3 sons and a 9-year-old daughter at the time he's arrested. Right. His wife at the time, Christine, was a widow when she met him. Yeah. And he was mowing a neighbor's lawn, and they struck up a conversation, and he asked for a date.
Wow.
Isn't that nice?
Romantic.
How romantic. She says, quote, I fell in love with him, but it hasn't been an easy marriage.
Well,
no shit.
Tell me more.
He's a rapist and murderer, so I would imagine that's probably not the easiest person to be married to.
I would read your book, lady.
I would definitely do that. Oh, Jesus, fuck, man. So she says her husband would go to church every week and, present a very nice front, but she said he also had another side. He liked to drink beer a little too much, and he liked keeping a collection of nude photographs of the women he slept with. Those were his 2 vices. Listen, I'm going to drink some beers, and I'm going to have pictures of chicks I banged, all right? You're going to have to fucking live with this.
How many people have I been with? Well, let's see. Here's one. Yeah. Here's one. Here's another.
He had a safe. He kept them
gross.
In. He had a safe that he kept specifically for the pictures.
That's disgusting.
That's creepy as fuck. Think about that.
Like I even kind of thumb my nose and look down on somebody who has like a lot of Playboys. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of a little creepy. Unless you're like keeping them for monetary value.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I can see that. There's that.
Yeah.
But if you've just got a bunch of them in a fucking bin,
what are you jerking off to tits? No, no one's jerking off to Playboy. No one's jerked off to Playboy since 1973. I'm sorry, it's not happened.
I did in the 80s.
Kind of like when you're 12, it doesn't matter. You're just like I don't care. Whatever. But any other time, you're like, what is that?
Bizarre. Yeah. But somebody that has a bunch of those, that's a little weird. But to have actual pictures of people that you took the pictures, that's fucking weird.
That's really weird.
Weird,
especially if you have pictures of some of them that you have fucking killed.
Right.
That's called a trophy. That's even a weirder souvenir. You're reliving that with this creepy shit. That's what I mean. This is fucking disturbing shit. He kept these people so he would get home from church. I'm going to have some beers and look at some nude pics of chicks I banged, so leave me the fuck alone.
Take the safe into the barn.
Yeah, and these are hard pics, too.
Right.
These are, on photo paper. Yeah, this is not like back in the day. This is what it is. So she said that she left him 3 or 4 times during the previous 9 years because occasionally new photos would show up in the safe where he kept them.
What?
So that's how she would know he was fucking other women because there'd be new nude pictures of women there that he took clearly.
Oh, my
So
God.
she did. She also said when the police came and took them, I was so embarrassed. I was in some of those pictures.
Oh, no.
And like we said, so was Lori Gagno. Also, what police found was a love letter from Lori Gagno to Wayne.
Oh, that's a problem.
As well. That's a problem. That shows they were most definitely together. I guess after this all happened, when it first came up before the arrest, she left him, the new wife, as soon as she heard about it, took off, and then a new girlfriend moved in.
What?
After that. Some other chick he was banging.
Wow.
Somebody from the pictures. The police officer, one of the arresting officers, said, quote, he is a strange man.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think that's an understatement. He's a strange man. I think you can fucking put that in the bank here.
He must have a sweet Enos.
Oh
boy!
It's he can raise it with a flute. So, is he a monster?
Yeah,
obviously. Well, his mom says no.
Really?
His mom says absolutely not. Irene, his mom, she says no. She stood by him through all of his court battles. Mm-hmm. By the way, anytime he's ever in court, all through Florida, all of these things, she's there
wow.
all the time. She said that even everyone's lying about her boy. She's like,
Mom.
Fucking Ma Barker over here. They're all lying on my boys.
7 rates.
She said she said that even her grandson were just lying about him. Everyone, the women, the police, the prosecutors, her grandson, they're all lying about him. He's a good boy. You leave him alone. She said, quote, he didn't kill no one. He's a good sort of person. People like him. He's in business. He must be a good person or people wouldn't want his business. She just said he can't be a murderer because people let him landscape their shit. So he wouldn't be, 1 + 1 = 2.
Mom.
Duh.
John Wayne Casey ran a KFC.
Dude, what the fuck? Very successful businessman. What are we talking about here? That's the craziest. This whole story, kid milking, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Mom, sometimes you got to hold him accountable.
He must be a good person or people wouldn't want his business.
This is why he's a piece of shit, Mom.
You did this.
You've never held him accountable since day one.
No.
Punch him in the fucking mouth, Mom.
Oh, my God.
Maybe if you'd have kicked his ass, he wouldn't be fucking raping people.
Something, or kicked his ass either more or less. One of the two. We're not sure which.
I don't know what you did.
There's a sweet spot in there somewhere, but it's not whatever the fuck you did.
Whatever you did was wrong.
You did it wrong, sister. That's great. So his lawyer is Dan Warren. He says that he's going to bring character witnesses into this whole thing. His attorney says that his client has, quote, had some liaisons with prostitutes in the area over the years, but he doesn't believe that makes him the brutal person police describe.
Hell of a description.
He's had some liaison. His lawyer says that DeLiesel's not the scourge of Volusia County. Instead, he's the victim of law enforcement agencies, law enforcement's establishment that can't admit it's been going after the wrong man all this time. So they're going to take it out on him. He says, quote, I don't believe he's the crazed killer everyone depicts him to be. He's just an easygoing, hardworking old country boy.
Mm-hmm.
What? They've tried to convict him and failed, so instead they resort to character assassination.
They've tried to convict him for rape, and you know what? They couldn't get him, so they're going to go for murder. Yeah, we know how we are.
He's an easygoing, hardworking old country boy? Fuck you.
That's a
what?
Defense?
That's the old country boy defense. You never heard of that one before? Yeah, you just pull it out. It's a special clause in the law. The old country boy defense.
P.B. Gaskins was one of those.
It's called the Duke Boys statute, I believe. Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Right. That's how it starts out, is the statute. What the fuck are you talking about?
They've been in trouble with the law since the day they were born.
Making their way. Any way they know how.
Murdering hookers from Vermont all the way down to Florida.
Wrap them up in a tarp and throw them out.
Wrap them up in a tarp.
Bound their hands and their feet.
Tie them up to concrete and throw them down in the creek.
I'm raping prostitutes like you wouldn't believe. Okay,
I think that was a better song.
It's a pretty good song. Okay, obviously that's horrible, but Jesus Christ, man, that's what's happening here. That's what's fucking up.
How do they not know?
That's what character assassination. Holy shit. He goes on to embarrass himself further. He's a member of the bar, this man. The judicial system has worked its will against Mr. DeLiesel. Yeah. No, he'd be in prison if anything had worked its will.
They've been trying.
Yeah, and it's come up with a big fat goose egg. I think the presumption of innocence must come into play here, and Irene agrees. Mom agrees. She said, quote, he's a good sort of person.
Boy, oh boy.
Again, she had to add that. Yeah. So others say different shit. Let's see. There's his son who says he murdered a woman.
Right.
Lots of people who say he raped and killed them and, did various horrible things, suspended them from truck hoists and sodomized them after beating them with truck tools and leather straps. After that, his kids don't like him much either.
No?
Jeffrey DeLiesel, who is one of his 3 sons, says, quote, he can't stand me and I can't stand him. We've had a long time bad relationship. He was never no kind of father or husband. He was a very violent person. He would give us all a good trouncing in a minute. So didn't like him.
Some fascinating language from this man.
Yeah, it's some country.
Some old-timey country.
Yeah.
Give us a good trouncing.
He wasn't no kind of husband or father. He'd give us all a good trouncing in a country minute, or in a New York minute.
Right.
So, yeah, his kids don't like him. Apparently, Wayne DeLiesel Jr. moved back to Vermont, and that's when he met with state police, and that's when this all came out, basically here. He said that, he lived in Florida, and while he lived in Florida, DeLiesel said, his son, said that he heard his father threaten his third and current wife by saying, quote, look, you can end up just like Lori did. It ain't hard. It doesn't take long.
Oh.
That's how he threatened his wife. So, basically this police officer said he had been talking to the young DeLiesel for some time, building up his confidence in him, and basically got this after a while of talking to him and gaining Wayne Jr.'s trust here. Now, Wayne Jr. says that he heard his father, heard them fighting. He heard his father threaten to kill Gagno, the whole deal, and so that's all the evidence. He said that I told them to keep their mouths shut, just to recap that here. He says, though, he was 11 at the time, and basically he didn't think at the time, he just wasn't independent enough to tell the truth of what happened, is what he says. Now, along with the new information, the photos, the letter, they think this is enough, along with the physical stuff that's circumstantial, but it matches up. The prosecutor said, Wayne DeLiesel always picked his victims carefully. He's been a wolf among sheep, but I believe we can prove this one now. Jesus Christ. Well, how about another brother? How about Adam? What's he have to say about it? He says, well, he's a little bit okay with his father, but he doesn't like his brother.
Really?
No, he says his brother Wayne is full of shit.
Junior?
Yeah, the one who's bringing all this evidence. He says, Adam says Wayne's full of shit. He says, quote, he's known as a liar in our family. You can take everything he says with a grain of salt. And he says that, But then they said, well, was your father a violent guy? Do you think he was capable of killing the neighbor? And he says, well, I suppose he would be capable, yeah. So he's lying, but
he's a piece of shit. He lies.
Oh, he's a rape and murderer. Don't get me wrong, but he's also a fucking liar. So just don't believe him here. He says that he thinks his brother's lying about the implication. He says, quote, I'm sort of surprised he remembers all that, talking about his brother. He said he's been in trouble no matter where he went, again, talking about his brother, and he thinks that he's testifying and bringing evidence up to get himself out of legal trouble. That's his brother's theory here, which we'll find out he has plenty of legal trouble. The brother here, Wayne Jr. Now, the state's attorney said he made no promises to Wayne Jr. in exchange for testimony. He has a burglary charge pending that was dismissed before Wayne Sr. was ever even arrested, which probably had to do with him coming forward with evidence. But either way, he said all of Adam's speculation is interesting, but it doesn't really add up to anything. That's what the prosecutor said. So the Gagno family didn't find out yet. Ricky, while everyone else knew it, Ricky had no telephone in his house. He did not know that they had arrested this guy and know the case was closed now here. So the mother, his mother, Ricky's mother, Norma Gagno, she said that he lived in a house without a telephone in Derby. She said, quote, we just sent a letter to him tonight.
Oh, boy.
The way for the mail.
Oh, no.
My son suspected him, talking about DeLiesel. I thought the police had given up on it. I'm glad in a way that DeLiesel was arrested, yet I hate to see what it could put Rick through, dredging all this up again. Yeah, we thought he was going to have a nervous breakdown at the time. At the time now, Ricky, by then, was a carpenter. He remarried, had children, moved back up to Vermont. You know, he was doing fine. And Lori's sister said that she was grateful that the son came forward to testify against his dad. Now, what's his defense?
I'd love to know.
His defense is, because he came out going, fuck that shit. Yeah. This is not thing. He refused extradition from Florida. That's his first try to block this fucking thing just to get some time. His attorney said the evidence has been gathered now is no better than it was 14 years ago, which is sort of true, other than the kid saying he heard the threat of, I'm going to kill you. That's really the only difference. Right. And they found photos in a letter now, too.
That's a problem.
That definitely, that's tough.
That ties the victim to the person.
Yeah, but it doesn't give evidence that he killed her.
It's not pictures of him murdering her.
It's not pictures of her dead body. It's, she's alive when these pictures are taken. But they said the connections between DeLiesel and the bricks and the ropes and the tarp are easily refutable. That's the defense. And Wayne Jr. said he's changing his story simply because his father refused to send him any more money. He said this is retribution. He said he called several times for money and Wayne refused, and suddenly this new information surfaces. It's clear to me where that comes from. So he also says that the lawyer believes that police agencies are being unfair and overzealous, publicly discussing old unproven charges against his client. There, he says, strange thing about the judicial system, it can never say we were wrong. He says, which is also true, but I don't think they are wrong with this fucking guy. They also said they hope that him being behind bars now will help them clear up some other crimes in the county that they think. Very specifically, they said that there's other people that might come forward now who've been afraid to. Sergeant Northrop here says Wayne DeLiesel has ruled by intimidation. And also, the investigator says that he's received from calls around the county from people who knew DeLiesel and had other leads. Oh, by the way, they're interested in him for 2 more and possibly 3 more murders in the Florida area. They've been looking for these 3 unsolved murders. All these women, bodies were found within a mile of his home in Deltona.
That's too close.
3 women found within a mile. That's way too fucking close.
In Daytona?
In Deltona, this is.
In Deltona, Florida?
One of those, probably a trailery offshoot of Daytona. I don't know. One woman found Denise Dansby, 24 years old, of Fort Worth, Texas, disappeared from Daytona Shores Motel. 8 months later, her body was found by a hunter in the woods near his house there. June 12th, she disappeared, 89. She was reported missing from Osteen, Florida. She arrived in Volusia County for a 4-day vacation. What? That's the most shocking thing in this story. But besides that,
why would you?
Right? On May 4th, 1989, checked into the Days Inn Motel, and she was not from the area, and she vanished. Her skeletal remains were found December 9th, 1989, off a cemetery road, and her remains showed signs of violent trauma, and her death is ruled as a homicide. Obviously, 3 years ago, the body of an unidentified girl between 15 and 18 years old was found in Deltona's Lake Butler. She appeared to have been strangled. Weights were tied to her knees and neck the exact same way they were tied to Lori, by the way, and the same rap job. 1984, Connie Sedum disappeared from her Deltona home. A year later, her remains were found in Dewey Boaster Park on Saxon Boulevard. The cause of death was undetermined, and he was seen cutting the grass right by her house the day she disappeared, like across the street. And it's also more than a mile of his house, and he was across the street. All of these, they say they have no physical evidence connecting these cases to him, but they're pretty fucking sure he's good for at least 2 of them.
Is he just an unbelievably handsome man?
Not
these
really.
Women would just talk to him out of the blue, or is he like fucking just a predator?
He's a fucking predator.
Wow.
And he knows
finds a weakness.
He knows which women to talk to.
Yeah.
He knows the ones who are maybe a little, I don't want to say damaged, but maybe have a little, and it's because people are damaged. I'm damaged, you're damaged, we're all damaged.
He's got some emotional baggage from the past.
Which ones. Remember we brought up before, like the old He-Man figures with you'd hit him and then it would have like 1 dent and you'd hit it again and have like 2 dents. He knows the ones where it's all dented to shit. He can see that inside of people. Wow. That's what predators do. Yeah. They sense out prey. They know the wounded antelope. Right. They can feel it. They know the person who had a terrible childhood. They know the person who had a fucking abusive father. They know the person who's on drugs and has a problem. And
we can't hide it.
They knows they can't. They can sniff that shit out. It's a sixth sense that predators have.
So gross.
It's fucking gross, man. So, they said, though, there's still people who have reluctance to talk about him there. Northrop said, quote, he's led a charmed life. That's why people are afraid to talk about him, even now. They've seen this guy arrested before, and he's always gotten off, and they think this will happen this time, too. Well, let's keep it going. The sheriff's investigators sent a whole dog team and searched all around where he lives now, dug up his entire fucking yard. I mean, they were like, who knows what the hell could be in there. They didn't find anything on his property. I think he's smart enough to not dump shit on his...
Here.
Yeah.
Not shitting where I eat.
That's exactly right. Also, too, his wife is there, so it's kind of hard to
explain.
He's got 3 kids and burying them in the yard. Right. Hold on, kids.
She sure looks like the girl in those pictures.
Yeah, wow, that's weird. Nice digging. Good form. So, they said that they collected information, and who the hell knows. Now, neighbors described him as a hard-working but rough man. One neighbor said, quote, he drank a lot and swore a lot, but he didn't bother us. We didn't bother him. Mm-hmm. That's a good neighbor right there.
Downright.
Not my kind of guy, so I just didn't talk to him. Sounds good.
Right neighborly.
I like it. That's right neighborly. Investigators also worked up a psychological profile on DeLiesel compiled in the 1980s. The profile indicated that he would become increasingly violent as years passed, which seems to be what happened. Yeah. He was like running out of ideas when you're holding up someone by a fucking truck hoist. Yeah. You're like,
what else can I do?
What else can I do? Jeez. That's what I mean. What else can I do? I've done other shit. So prosecutors, after all this, they agree to a plea deal for him. They agree to manslaughter charges.
What?
Because it's been 14 years, and they say they're happy just to get anything.
Anything.
With a sentencing recommendation. Now, what would your sentencing recommendation be for this guy?
15 to 30?
Try 5 to 10.
Get out.
5 to 10.
That's what they want to give him for this.
That's the agreement that they make. They bring that to the judge, and the judge says, are you out of your fucking mind?
No way.
The judge says, no, we're not doing that. He hears, because they have to then, they tell the judge what the deal is, then they tell him the facts of the case. Right. And after the judge hears the facts of the case, the judge said, why did you guys decide to enter a plea agreement here? I don't understand it. And the state explained that it was a tactical decision motivated by the age of the case, but also, they also said the victim's mother was pissed off at the sentence too. And so the court responded, quote, okay, I'm going to be ordering a pre-sentence report. I think that this is an important in this case, and basically said, no, I'm not accepting that. I'm not accepting this. We're going to figure something else out. The court then entered an adjudication of guilt and stated that it would set a sentencing hearing after it had a chance to review the report. So now that shit is off the table, that 5 to 10. That is not a fucking option anymore.
But they're accepting it and putting him in jail.
They're accepting the guilt for now, as an interim, because it can be withdrawn. Mm-hmm. So before the sentencing hearing, the judge advised the counsels that they had he basically, the judge said, I have reservations about accepting this plea agreement. I don't like it. I don't want to do it. Basically, they said that they, the prosecutor's like, I don't know what you want from us. This is all we can do. So he says that the pre-sentence report, the judge does, quote, gives me the advantage of having the probation officer's input and to reflect myself at greater length on what an appropriate sentence would be. And he concluded that he did not believe the plea agreement calls for an appropriate sentence given the nature of the offense. Right. So September 1991, that's when he has to plea, and then he has to plea not guilty because he's got to change it, because now he's got to have a trial.
Right.
And as he's walking out of court, one of the Gagno family members said, quote, I hope you die. Good for you.
Suck it, sir.
Suck it. Sir, suck it. So the trial is...
Hope you die.
Hope you die. Have a good one. That's real simple.
I'm sure they didn't say it like that.
Just hope you die.
Right.
Thumbs up. Now, this trial was on Court TV.
Really?
Live in 1991.
One of the
or 1990. First? It was, the Court TV was brand fucking new, and they were like, this is the type of case that they were looking for because it was so... Jesus, look at it. It's a mess.
Good Lord.
This is, here they said that, I quote, this was a reporter, June Grosso, who was on there forever. She said, quote, I lobbied for this one. It's such an old case to be trying. There's so many problems for both the prosecution and the defense. It's unique. And also they wanted to see a son testify against their father. That's fucking drama. Yeah. That's literally what they said. It's a son testifying against the father. I mean, Jesus Christ. That's holy shit.
Yeah.
This is some Shakespearean shit here. Yeah. This is crazy. So he gave more than 40 pages of, this was during the inquest originally. Wayne Sr. had given 40 pages of testimony there, which is fucking crazy, and a shitload from the son too. but the son never mentioned the other shit there, so they bring that up in trial. Now, the son said he was afraid during the 1977 inquest because it was a big scary thing, and he was 12.
Right.
So that makes sense. And they said that there's an issue. The defense tried to raise the issue of DeLiesel's son and having any credibility because he's got a long criminal record as well. And that includes convictions for shoplifting and marijuana possession and bullshit like that, teenage bullshit. So, state presented evidence here that the knots in the rope binding Laurie's body were similar to the knots tied in other ropes that he had all around in his work in his house. Basically, it was the same knot type, which is circumstantial as fuck, but it's when you add it to everything else.
Unless it's a super unique knot, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. If it's some like naval knot or some shit. Yeah, that's what I mean. If it's some like unique way, but apparently it's the same way, but it's just another piece, basically. Also there, they present that the body was weighted down with cinder blocks painted with black paint in the same pattern as the blocks found in the foundation of his home. He literally just took them out and put them in there, and the body was wrapped in a black rubberized tarp, the same ones he uses in his trucking business. So he says that that the state is now basically he says their case is fucked up because the state has lost the tarp and the hyoid bone that they had in a thing of formaldehyde. It's gone. It's been 14 years. It's gone. So he's saying that they got rid of the shit on purpose, basically, because it didn't match their theory. And the state's saying in 14 years we lose shit. Yeah. So that's how that goes here. It was he said he couldn't locate the bone. Dr. Harris there, Dr. BJ.
No boy.
It's not Dr. BJ, but that's from
that was Kendall.
Yeah. So this goes all the way to the jury here, and the verdict comes in guilty of second-degree murder, which is way different than manslaughter.
Much better.
And they also say, you, sir, may fuck off 20 to 50 years.
Great.
That's a little better, right? Yeah. Okay, hold on to that thought. Now, October 1991, Wayne Jr.'s in trouble again.
Oh, no.
Now, let me ask you a question. He's changed his name legally now. He doesn't want to be associated with, he's Wayne DeLiesel Jr. He doesn't want to be that, which I don't blame him. You don't want to be fucking John Wayne Gacy Jr.
No.
Jeffrey Dahmer Jr. is not a good name.
Yeesh.
So, what would you, now, think about it. It's 1991. Yeah. You're trying to be cool. Right. You're in your mid-20s.
What name does he change?
What would you think would be the coolest name to change your name to?
Did he go with Axl Rose?
No. It's an attempt at like a rock star singer name.
Is it?
That's what's so funny.
Did he go Sebastian Bach?
No, not a real one. Like if he had to make up or like
he's picking his own?
Yeah.
Johnny Rocket?
Cody Coyote.
Jesus
His name is Cody Coyote.
Is he in porn?
He changed his fucking name legally to Cody Coyote.
That is awesome.
That is the craziest part of the story. Fucking Cody Coyote. So, wow.
Is he a cowboy? What is he?
No, he lives in Florida and in Vermont, and he does. I found an article in the paper with him and some other drug guy who does drugs talking about how many drugs there are in Vermont. Literally a picture of him going, you could get anything around here. Right. Heroin's making a big comeback.
Thanks, Cody Coyote.
Cody Coyote. And they don't even say Wayne DeLiesel, also Cody. He's just Cody Coyote by then. They just quote him as 26-year-old Cody Coyote says. I'm like, what?
Is it C-O-D-Y?
C-O-D-Y Coyote. His name.
C-O-Y-O-T-E.
Fucking Coyote. C-O-Y-O-T-E. Cody Coyote.
That's awesome.
That,
Gotta give him credit.
One of my favorites.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I would say so. That's wild. So he is in court for violating probation and a temporary restraining order for making contact with his estranged wife and threatening her. He's also charged with abusing alcohol because he's not supposed to be drinking because he's, under probation for that.
Coyote.
Yeah. He pleaded no contest to a domestic abuse for an attack on his wife, which was at the Price Chopper.
Oh, God.
Which is a great...
Grocery store.
Assaulted his wife at the grocery store. Cody Coyote. Beat his wife up at the Price Chopper.
Slapping women over flank steak.
Holy shit.
Wow.
He's ordered to stay away from her and from the Price Chopper as well, which is hilarious. He's going on domestic counseling and all that kind of shit here. And he admitted himself to the Medical Center Hospital of Vermont. And before that, and had admitted that when he fucking slapped his wife around there, he had consumed 4 beers.
4 beers is all it takes to punch a girl?
I guess so. For him.
Down, mister.
That's all it is. That's it. Going down. Now, 1992, June, more trouble for Wayne Jr. Mm-hmm. Or is that his name? No, it's not. It's
Cody Coyote.
Cody Coyote. So, he's arrested again.
He's a cartoon character.
That's what it seems like, with like a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. He drives a van.
And smacks women.
He drives a van and wears like a bandana around his neck, right? Smokes cigarettes. Cody Coyote. So again, he's arrested here after now assaulting his now ex-wife and her friend, basically. And then her and her friend, another guy named Bob, chased him through the Burlington streets for 20 minutes. And the chase ended at the Burlington probation office, where he abandoned his car and went in there to fucking give up and say, "There's people chasing me." Yeah, he goes by the name Cody Coyote. It says in here, his ex-wife complained that he had called and harassed her, and that she reported that that Cody Coyote smashed her new boyfriend's windshield and slashed his tires. So they were chasing him around. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. So now Wayne Sr. in prison claims to have found the Lord.
Really?
He's good now.
Oh, boy.
He found the Lord. Yeah. I mean, it's all good.
Let me out.
Soul is clear, everybody. Yeah. All cleared out. We're good. So, 1994, the Supreme Court gets involved because there's some shit here. And the Supreme Court says, basically, that the judge at the time, Cooper Smith, that rejected the plea agreement originally here, basically the judge rejected the plea agreement, saying it didn't provide for an appropriate sentence given the nature of the offense. On a point of law, though, the court noted that the 3-year statute of limitations for manslaughter had run out by the time this was brought to trial. So you couldn't charge him with manslaughter. So the last year, the Vermont Supreme Court overturned that decision, and the High Court said that the jury should have the option of convicting DeLiesel of manslaughter also, so they reinstated it. The initial plea agreement went forward, and what ends up happening is they say, oh boy, you're going to hate this here, he's got to have a new trial. Okay, the Supreme Court says the plea agreement, which he pleaded to, basically wasn't fair. It was all legally fucked up. Right. If he pleads to manslaughter, he should have been allowed to plead to manslaughter, but he was past the statute, and it's a mess. New trial, basically. New trial ordered, and he this time is convicted again of second-degree murder, not manslaughter, murder. So he's convicted. Now, here's the deal. They find the sentencing here, Jesus Christ, this is wild. Okay, you, sir, may fuck off 20 to 50 years again, but because of all the other shit and the original plea agreement and everything, the judge modifies it. All but 7.5 are suspended.
Okay.
All but 7.5 years are suspended. He's been in jail for 5 years.
Time served also?
With time served, that means
2.5 years.
Bye-bye, Mr. DeLiesel. You're a free fucking man.
Oh, my God.
Have a good one. Yeah, we need him on the streets.
Wow.
So, they accepted the plea agreement. Basically, it was two different things. It was 20 to 50 years in prison with all but 7.5 suspended for the murder, or whatever they want to call it, second-degree murder, and serve a sentence of 10 to 15 years after pleading guilty to perjury at his first trial.
Okay.
So, but all of that is suspended, and they're running it concurrent.
So he's got 7.5.
7.5, and he's already there. He'll receive credit of time served in jail since March 1990. And, the Vermont Supreme Court overturned it there. So they said, quote, in light of that and in light of some other evidentiary difficulties have developed since the last trial, we opted to settle the thing and keep DeLiesel under control. For what, a month? Yeah, no shit. So he did 64 months behind bars.
For murder.
For murder, and God knows what else he did, but definitely for murder.
Good Lord.
He must complete a treatment program for violent offenders. Oh, gee.
For murderers?
For murder.
What's the treatment for murderers?
So don't tie her up and wrap her in a tarp and throw her in a river, right? We're not going to strangle people to death?
All right.
Okay. Oh, I slipped. I had a slip up. You know what?
Relapse.
I take it day by day. It's just a bad day today. So he must remain out of regular contact with correction staffers, which I would think you'd want to.
Pretty easy.
And he must, he must keep out of trouble. If he gets in trouble, he could be forced to serve the entire 20 to 50. But that's if he gets in trouble.
So
he got in trouble.
That's what I'm saying.
What the
repeatedly.
Fuck?
Now the prosecutor said his defense attorney now said, quote, "This seemed like a reasonable disposition for all concerned. I bet it's reasonable for you. This was a very, very difficult case for Wayne. Oh, I bet. Must have been tough on him. He denies having done the killing. He's now admitted that he was involved in disposing of the body and will at some point give a full statement of what happened." So now he's even admit. See, before you could go, there's a chance maybe he didn't. He admits that he helped dispose of the fucking. Who'd you help dispose of fucking shit
of your?
He says I helped with my stuff with the tarp and all that. That was my stuff, but I didn't kill her. I just helped someone dispose of a bomb. A nice guy. Right. That's what I do. So he is released at 8:02 a.m. on July 19th of that year. He walks out and. Right there to meet him, by the way, standing right outside waiting, is Richard Gagno, Lori's husband, said, quote, "You know who I am. I'm going to follow you like wind in a hurricane." Oh. That's his quote to him.
Oh, my.
He said, "I'm going to fucking on your ass, dude."
Wind in a hurricane.
Wind in a hurricane. You turn around, I'm going to be there, bro.
I'm going to give you the most Florida thing that's ever been said.
Wind in a hurricane. That is the most Florida thing. I did some time down there, not in jail, but I spent some time in Florida. July 21st, 1995, Wayne wants to move back to Florida from Vermont, where he did his time, and Florida's like, "No, we don't want you. We don't fucking want you." But they have exchange programs with these states in between. So legally, they have to take him, but they're trying to block him because they don't want him. Right. Like anyone else will take, but not him. They said it's a rare instance in which one state rejects the interstate compact that these states have.
He got like a habitual speeder or something.
Yeah, we'll take that guy. You know,
somebody with a bunch of DUIs.
You know what I mean?
They'll fit in down
here.
We
can clean them up. We don't care about it. The roads are a mess down here. We don't care. So Florida wants to legally block him. People are protesting. One guy here says there are a lot of elderly women, elderly people living here. Right. This frightens them. Well, no shit.
They got somebody that fucks chickens? We'll send them to Tampa.
Yeah, they've run the streets free. To your heart's desire. So one person here, that was a person who lives not far from the house where this guy wants to move into, said that. Another person from the neighborhood, Ben Smith, said, quote, "I will get a gun. I will not live in fear." I will shoot this motherfucker.
Isn't that living in fear?
Yeah.
I'll go get a gun.
I'll shoot him. His mother, though, Irene, said she needs her son. Mm-hmm. She says that her son plans to be a prison counselor and chaplain when he gets out. She says, quote, "I'm almost 80 years old and I'm sick and I want him here to take care of me. He served his debt to society." Quote, "Are we in Russia that people can't go from one state to another?" When they're fucking murderers, yes. That's not... This lady is the most insane person we've ever fucking come across.
That's his mom.
That's his mom.
Wow.
What
did you do? What did he do?
What the fuck happened?
Why are you so nice to him?
Oh my God. So then he's had to keep moving. No one wants him around. In the 2 weeks after he was released, he attempted to settle in 7 different communities, both in New York and Vermont, and was driven out by community reaction. In 2 weeks, 7 different places came after him like he was Frankenstein.
That's every 2 days, James.
Yeah, get the fuck out. They do that. He reportedly, by the end of the week, was spending time in a homeless shelter because he had nowhere else to fucking go. After a new arrangement, though, because he was going to move to Florida, drew questions, whatever. So the Vermont guy here, who is this? He says, quote, this is the, quote, "We will treat Wayne DeLiesel like the other 6,000 probationers currently living in Vermont communities. That's all the law allows us to do." That's the acting commissioner of some prisoner shit there. So August 1995, Jeffrey DeLiesel, the brother who said, "I can't stand him, he can't stand me," dies in a motorcycle accident.
Oh, Jesus.
Like 3 weeks after his dad gets out of jail.
Wow.
He dies in a motorcycle accident at 4:45 p.m. Alcohol was involved. He was drinking.
Rush hour traffic and he's drinking?
Drinking in rush hour traffic. Wayne never gets picked back up again.
Really?
I don't know where the fuck he is. I do know he's alive.
Really?
He's still alive.
Do you know where he is?
He's 78 years old. And it looks like Florida, but who knows? Wow. I mean, we don't know, but I don't know if he's changed his name to Cody Coyote Sr. or what, but
God, I hope so.
If you run across this guy, I would say steer clear. Let's just say that. I mean, hey,
alleged, blah, 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 legal coverage. Steer fucking clear.
My grandpa's 80, and he can still kick ass, so
that's what I mean.
I can hold it together.
Hopefully his dick doesn't work anymore.
Dangerous.
Maybe he stopped at that point.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, just out of commission.
Do you want me to call my grandpa?
His cock right out of commission. His probably works. I want this guy's to just not have worked and haven't even thought about my penis in 20 years. Just, it's a useless.
It stopped working in prison, hasn't started up yet.
Useless as a tits on a board. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's that. That, my friends, by the way, is Enosburgh, Vermont. Now, I said it's got an ending that sucks, like a bad ending, because the guy's out in 4 years. That's kind of crazy, and he's out and about, and that's a little bit scary. But I do have some good news. Thank you guys so much, by the way. We kind of opened up about our personal lives a couple weeks ago and problems we've been having, and I got really just an outpouring from you guys about my grandmother being on her deathbed a few weeks ago there and everything. And I have some good news to report. Somehow she is like doing better now. They thought she's 93. They thought she wasn't going to make it through the night. She had pneumonia. Yep. She couldn't breathe. She refused oxygen. She hadn't eaten in 3 days. Her blood pressure was dropping to nothing. She has clips in her heart valves from an operation. They were all failing. So she's got no oxygen. She can't do anything. Not going to make it through the night. Somehow in the next 2 days, her fucking lungs cleared up. She had pneumonia and can't do anything and wouldn't take oxygen. There's no way for that to happen. So the doctor said, I don't know, we think she's a zombie, pretty much. So she's either still alive and made a miraculous recovery, or she is a zombie person waiting to eat all of our brains. Either or, though, somehow she fucking carries on and is feeling better now.
She just needed a shot of olive oil.
She's feeling better now. I don't know what's going on.
She was a shot low, Jeff.
I guess so. We fucking checked her out, put the dipstick back in there, loaded her up, and she's fine, I guess. I don't know what the fuck.
She's an Italian starfish. She just regenerates.
I don't even know what to say about it, but thank you guys for all your thoughts and everything like that. That's great news for me, and I thought you guys would like it too, because you guys seem to really have taken to Grandma there. And yeah, I don't know. She's tough, man. She's
a marvel of modern science.
The doctor went,
I don't know.
I don't know how that happened.
My medical.
He said, like, I don't know what. There's pneumonia. There's no way that clears up in a woman who's that old and sick and can't move and won't take oxygen. Like, you die then.
Like Bruce Willis in Death Becomes.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
You're dead. I mean, you got no heartbeat. You got no pulse. You got
Here
no
you are, though.
Pressure. You're talking to me.
That's what I mean. That's what it is. So she's a zombie. That's what are you going to do? So anyway, if you like the show, let us know about it. Get on Apple Podcasts, that purple icon, and tell us that you like the show by giving us 5 stars. It helps a lot. You don't have to. You do have to say something, but I don't care what you say. You say anything. Right. Just say, I like sandwiches with mustard and not mayonnaise, and I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? Right? That's good.
That's fine.
I like Coke, not Pepsi. I don't give a shit.
That'll do.
Whatever the fuck you want to say, it doesn't matter. It just helps to say something. Helps drive us up the charts. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for everything you could possibly want. Small town murder and crime and sports related. We have all the stuff on there. Tons of merch. New merchandise is up, by the way. There's some cool stuff on there. Sarah's always making new stuff up there. She's kicking some ass. And so do that. Listen to crime and sports, obviously. And also get your tickets to live shows on there. Yeah. All been rescheduled for 2020.
We're going to do them.
We're 2021. And I have to tell you, a couple of those shows that were sold out have, like, once in a while, 2 people will return a ticket. If they need the money or something, they'll return the tickets because they got rescheduled. Right. So every once in a blue, tickets will pop up there, maybe 2 here, 2 there. So
you can get them.
You can, if you're wanting to go to a show that you know was sold out, keep checking on them. Those Portland, Nashville, San Fran. We're talking all of you guys there. Sacramento. Boston, Sacramento. There's a shitload of them. Thank you, guys. It just made me realize how awesome they are.
You guys are unbelievable.
We had so many sold out shows before we even were out there. So thank you so much. But yeah, check on those. Get those tickets. They're going to happen eventually, and you're going to love the show. So do that. Also, you should listen to P.S. I Hate This Movie on Fridays. Now, if you want to be a hero to the show, actually follow us on social media first. Let's do steps here. Sure. You can't just go from a handshake to trying to finger this person here. Try as a listener, not as a sexual thing. You know, a listener fingering would be getting you to do things. We're romancing you.
We got to put
then the ropes and then the weights. So we're gonna weigh you guys down. But yeah, definitely follow us on social media. We are at Murder Small on Twitter, at Smalltown Pod on Facebook, and at Smalltown Murder on Instagram. Check us out there. And if you want to be a hero to the show, not only that, a producer to the show, who not only gets their name mispronounced by Jimmie, but gets to hear all of our wonderful bonus content. Right. This week we have our bonus content is a small town murder in Illinois, down in southwestern Illinois, and it's a fucking mess in a trailer park, multiple deaths and all sorts of crazy shit.
Jesus.
It's a wild one, so you can check that out. And all of our great bonus stuff, you'll get access to the crime and sports bonus stuff too. So it's really worth it, and you can help out the show that you're listening to. If you've listened to it through all the way till now, you probably like it.
Yeah.
So what the fuck? Give up $5. What do you care? Patreon.com/crime and sports. And if you just want to be a wonderful person and have good karma and donate a little bit on PayPal, you can do that also. You can do that by using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. Right. You can also get a hold of the show like that. Also, we have a voicemail if you want to leave us voicemails, because we check those, and once in a while we'll tack those on the end of a bonus show or something. Our voicemail is 602-759-0606. Internationally, I'm not sure how that works, but you can figure that shit out. You guys know that shit. I don't know anything there. So
call anywhere else.
No. So, yeah, with that said, all that out of the way, now that you know how to do it, I need to know, Jimmie, the names of the greatest people in the world. Tell me the names of the people who would never bind me in a tarp and throw me in a river. Hit me with them right now.
This week's executive producers are Rebecca Manners, Joanne Ahern, Reagan Shalkley, Austin Parsons, Dallas Grimm, Brennan Keene, Chloe, not Chloe Rass, Alex Leckie, L-E-C-Y? What? That's not a word. T. Sanderson, Jules Harris, Kate with no last name, Les McKenna, Bennett Taylor, Joe Dawson, Megan McDermott, Taylor Bean, Trevor Scott, Ryan Guest, Kevin Spilker. Thank you, Kevin. And his family. I'm not going to put out his information, thank you, Kevin. I really appreciate it. Susanna Platt, Lisa Coltrane, Jackie Sukup, Jordan Bennett, Tracy Mitchell, Leslie Kane, Lindsay Redmond, Stephen Rude, Carrie Lombardi, and Mandy Knight. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
We really can't do it without you. You guys are heroes. Other producers this week are Ben Cool, Senora Feinstein, The Fridge, Caitlin Kennedy, Carla Gale, I think that's what I did, Kim in Burbank, Alex Mercury, Marshall Hawarka, Rebecca Atkins, Teddy O'Donovan, Bailey with no last name, Michael, God damn it, Michael Hutton, that's what that is, Amanda Nacione, probably not. Cecilia Craig, Eric Berg, Patrick Mack, Brandon Wegner, Casa Diaz, another one. Thank you. I got you. Lisa Gibbs, Jimmy Lynch, I think that is. Gross Jambone. I don't know if that's right. Dylan Menifee, like Kurt.
Like Kurt, yeah.
Ron Cummins, like Dan. Batokovis, what is that? Buttocks Oves? Batoxuis? Buttocks.
Oh.
I'm doing my best. Christer, Samuel Moore, Phoebe Taylor, Justin Love, Jana Young, Arion Ford, I think, Robert Gordon, Julian Olivas. I live in a Spanish state. There's so much Spanish spoken here. I'm an idiot. Ellie Currents, I think. Ross Smith, Benedict Hutchinson Brooks, Christy Kelly, JT Bright, Jay Peninga, Kelsey Cunningham, Shelby Kellerman, Sarah Williams, Shane Boyd, Sandra Kaus, Christopher White, Jorge Orta, I think. Aroa? I don't know what I did. It's a T or an O, one of the two.
Those don't look alike.
They're oftentimes misconstrued. Jessica Levitt, Justin Grish, Christopher White, I said that. Steph with no last name. Lulu Edmondson, Josh Guido, Battery Flaccid. What? Karina Statalilo. Jennifer Campbell, Natasha Harris, Kip Sousley, Laura Timberlake, Courtney Schoberl, Courtney Kimberly, Christina McWilliams, Riley, I think, Miles, Jordan Cooper, Karen Reynolds, Samantha Crutchfield, Jenna Cutsaris, Katsaris, Wendy Steins, Paul Hicks, Kristen Gentine, Bob Hope, probably not the one.
I would assume not.
I think he's dead. I don't think he would be able to. Sarah Yanez.
Well, it'd be nice if he did.
Right. Jean-Luc Tolfrey, Rick Jacobson, Joanne Sanderson, Kristen Gentine. I said that. Courtney Kimberly, Trevor Canar, Ben with no last name, Rodney Haruff, Kim McCulley, Olivia Meese, I think, Alicia Utter, Nick with no last name, Jolene Flath, Brittany Jones, I think that, yeah, I just scribbled that out. Nathan Ebaugh, Carmina Ramirez, Jordan Ebunga, Jonathan Leahy, David Kvitner, nope, Kvitkik, nope, fuck, Carlos Suarez,
two tries, that's it.
Wilhelmine Witt, Renee Quebman, fuck, Ewan Urquhart, Sabrina Nelson, Brianna Syracuse, that can't be right, but it looks right. Christina Rittenauer, Vicky Bronner, Libby Baltz, B. Taylor, Michael James Ball, Chloe K, BC, Christina Mitchell, Jake Yates, Beth with no last name, Nina Naska, Tasha Walter, god damn it, Micah Altman, Montana Gamer, Carl Shepard, Holly Levinson, Craig Langston, Lori Riley, Harley Plummer, Turd Ferguson, what? Slick Rick, Jennifer with no last name, Chris Fluellinger, Nancy Pierce, Patricia Durand, John Dixon, Rebecca Handy, Julia, Zuka. That's Zuka, not Julia.
Thank you, Harburg. John Dixon.
Truly.
Jimmie can pronounce your name.
Brian Goger, Matt Segal, Jenny Sue, David Prince, that's Megan Ruff, Madeline with no last name, Roger with no last name, Jessica Sridhar, Kelly Mitchell, Caitlin Thara, Curie, Corey, is it Curie Branham, I think, Sarah Gendy, Lauren Hilbert, Adrian Thompson, Daniel King, Cole Oakhersey, I think, Mark Marotte, Shiloh with no last name, Maddie Levine, Alfred Jensen, Bob Henry, Bryant Clayton, Katie Schmitz, Rob Brown, Diana Onzarino, what, and Anzarena, Bianca Elena, Tony Casano, Carlos Bueno, Shane M, Catherine Maldonado, Nicholas Combat, I think. I don't know what I wrote. I'm sorry. Jen Stillman, Anna Rodrock, Joel Sanchez, Jake Antonio, Antonio.
You got this, Jimmy.
I'm trying. Anna Hill,
on,
Eric Berg, Brandon Meg, Mog, Kristen Mudrick, Mucho Macho, Josh Wellington, and Jenna Ulrich.
Just throw strikes, baby.
Evan Ferguson, Christina. No, it's Christian Collins.
Good eye.
We're almost there. God damn it. Yvette Flores.
Poke it over to the second baseman's head. Little contact out there.
Kiefer Sloby and Catherine Lopez, Matthew Fernbacher, Joseph Merkel, Carissa Slater, April Hughes, Sean Griffiths, John Mize Jr., I think, Kelly Snap.
We want a picture.
Brent Files, Jocelyn Vega, Travis with no last name, Heather Campbell, Dominique with no last name, Rushbaugh Shaw, Greg Huffman, Mac with no last name, Colleen Edwards, Brian Rinaldi, Melody Knapp, Dan White, Cole with no last name, Jason Adams, Carl Doyle, Ashley with no last name, Meredith King, Nick Leslie, Aether Explorer, I think, Christopher Heyman, Liz Krajewski, Oleandra, Jesnewski, probably not, Elizabeth Judy, Michael Yelton, Mark O'Donnell, Samantha Ludwig, Matt French, Renee Denny, Mary Lanners, Drew with no last name, Aiden Finnell, Megan and Jeff May, Mariah Noosh, Brianna Romero, Kaylin Bancroft, Emma Larson, Alice St. Quentin, Neil Brown, Christina Hambleton.
That one shouldn't take a lot of.
Alex Jordan, Nate, Matt Presley.
Hey.
Barbara, what is that? Barbara Meissner. Brad Applegate, Olivia Gibbs, Jeanette Mulder, Candy with no last name, Jack Averill, Chris DeYoung, Mangia Penny, Kelly Stoskop, Lakeland Brown, Chris Conkey, Joe Calapoo, what? Magny or Maine?
Whoa.
Or Monnier? Wallicher? I don't know. Michelle Hodges, Jonathan Phillips, Joe Galapagos, Chris Conkey, Kristen Wilcox, Christina Hambleton, Jessica Obier, Mike Miller, Amanda Hamilton, Dan Trevelage, J.N. with no last name, Adam Trunnell, Michael Christensen, Colorado Plant Lady, I know it, Amanda Hamilton, I said that, Kevin with no last name, Laura Jones, Don Solomon Wittes, Aaron Johnson, Chris McConneville, McConnville, Sarah McAnally, last home stretch. Katie Grace, Katie Nixon, Rob Lanto, Rebecca Ettringer, Dorian Helms, Hot Shot Motors, Samantha Brown, Kendall Cole, Stephen Hayward, Peyton Meadows, James Martyr, Allison Horrocks, Thomas Smith, Claire Meekin, I think, Christy Monagold. God damn it. Joshua Blair, Ryan Sheehan, Justin and Sarah, Dakota Harrington, Brandy McNichol, Seth Spears, Dylan Banfield, Jill Lovan, Felipa Delgado, I think, Matthew Henkel, Adam Apple, Julia Avara, Terrence Schaub, Janice Hill, Patricia Arcand, Iron Tree Craftworks, Sarah Becht, Melissa Rack, Ashlyn Lang, and Bailey. You guys, we can't do it without you. You're goddamn heroes. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Fuck, you guys are the best. We really have the fucking most loyal, awesome, great listeners.
So
you guys
interactive.
Are so fucking great. Thank you for what you do and for hanging out with us and for giving a shit about our lives as, half as much as it's for everything.
It's the understanding what we do and understanding this show. And thanks for being a part of it. And thanks for not taking life so goddamn serious.
Exactly.
It's a mess.
Or death for that matter. Because you know what?
Yeah.
It's
a big part of this.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I just talked about my grandmother and if she had died, I'd be making just as many jokes. So it's just the way it is because that's how you get through things. If you want to get through it, I mean, you want to sit and mourn and do that and give people their respect? Absolutely. But then after that, you also have to carry on. And the best way to do that is to fucking laugh. Right. And that's what we're trying to do here.
Death is dark and so is fucking
dark.
Life.
It's all dark. Right. What if they wanted to get a hold of you and find you and tell you that you're not dark?
I'm over there on social media. You guys know where it is. And that's where I'm at. So find me.
He's over there.
Tell me something dark. Where are you?
They know where I'm at. Jesus. Copy and paste my name from the You'll find me. You know how to fucking do it. You know how to find people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, I don't know how. He didn't give me his address. Right. You'll find me. It's on there.
You can find my address. You know where my
you do that.
Are.
So, that said, everybody. Oh, my God. This was a crazy-ass episode. Hope you guys found it interesting and weird and kind of, It felt like you're walking through the woods and there's like sinkholes you step in every once in a while. It's not great. But you know what? So what? I think we told it very well, though. We can't help how the story goes. We didn't write it.
No.
This is just what happened. So, I don't know. Until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus